As we go with the Brisbane Lions through the banner, and they definitely need to exercise some demons today. Haven't got a win on the board, Matthew, and as we said at the opener, an unbelievably must-win game for them.
Yes, it certainly is, and they've got a tough trip coming up on the road, and Coach John Northey will be looking to get their first win of the season up today to make sure that they can stay in touch with the pack. If you look at the teams now for Brisbane, down back to starting, Alastair Lynch, he's in the terrific form at the moment. He's their best player to date so far, and he's going to have another big game. Darryl White down back, and in the middle there we see Steve Lawrence. His duel against Todd Viney should be one to watch. Shane O'Brien up forward with Michael Voss, the co-captain. As we mentioned earlier, Justin Lepich needs to kick a lot of goals today. Matty Clark's duel, Jim Stein, should be terrific, and Richard Champion back in the side after a calf injury, so look forward for a good game from Richard.
Last week against the Swans, it was the old and the new that were in form.
Yes, it certainly was. I mean, some of the youngsters that they've blooded already this year, Simon Black, he was given the job on Paul Kelly last week, and I thought he did a terrific job, and he's a player to watch this year. Shane O'Brien, Jared, one of those players that just looks to find the ball. He can find it wherever he is, and he'll start off on the half-forward flank again today. And, well, I think he's a player already made playing the AFL. And I'm looking forward to another big game from him. And as I mentioned earlier, Alastair Lynch. Psychologically last week, Jared, his duel on Tony Lockett has him back to his best. Yes,
it'll be interesting to see how he goes. You'd expect he'd get David Neitz today. And here come the Melbourne team. There's David Swartz. He's a pivotal player for them. And they'll be looking to do better in the humid conditions here than they did in the opening round against Mantle, where they were a big chance, but after a great start, they certainly ran out of steam. And Neil Danaher will be looking for his first victory on the road. Brent Grgic, keep an eye on him, a talented player, one to watch. Glenn Lovett's back into the team, and Leon Challey was one of their best last season. Todd Viney also back, could get Steve Lawrence. Swartz, as we said, one of the key players, and Matt Kennedy's height perhaps make him a likely opponent. Lyon, Neitz and Farmer. Well, that line will take some stopping. Jeff White and Jim Steins have a big job against Matthew Clark. Lots of run on the boundary line. And there's going to be probably a chance for all of those players to get lots of work. But when you look at this Melbourne side, the big difference is the strike power up forward. They've got the likes of Neitz. They've been able to keep him as a forward because Seacamp and to a lesser extent Ingerson have done particularly well down back. And that goal when Melbourne were challenged last week by North Melbourne was one of the best he has ever kicked for the Demons. Jeff White on the end of this one. Who would you think would line up on him, Matthew?
Well, I think the height will be a problem, but perhaps Trent Bartlett will pick up Jeff White, and well, that's going to be a problem all the way down back for Brisbane.
One of the great tackles of the season to date, that one from Lyon, but it was the magic of this young man in Jeffrey Farmer that really started Melbourne last week, and he was there at the start, there at the finish, and perhaps an interesting opponent.
Well, they've had trouble with him all week, and I think they have to put Nick Trask into the side to pick him up.
And Garry Lyon, what a great return. 3 goals for the Demons last week. He will also start in the forward line. And David Swartz, well, perhaps it'll be Matthew Kennedy. Whoever it is going to have to do lots of running here in humid conditions. Yes, tough conditions for all players. We'll be back after the break with the opening bounce.
On this overcast but humid afternoon, one change for the Brisbane Lions, Lappin out and Bamford in, and Sean Smith is out for the Demons. Let's go down to the boundary line in just a moment. We'll have a look at the umpires first with Andrew Coates, who is wearing number 6 today. Tim Shearer is well known in the number 12 strip, and making up the threesome is Steve McBurney wearing number 29. Dipper is on the boundary line, and Dipper, one of your old sparring partners, has a son starting on the bench, Billy Pickin.
Look out, here comes Billy, Sandy. What a fantastic effort for Marcus Payne's first game today. And throughout the coverage, I'll try and pick up Billy. Apparently, he's a guy with grey hair, like most of us in the early 70s.
Yes, thank you very much, Dipper.
Sandy, as you can see by my shirt, it's very warm down here, but there's a nice breeze coming through here. And like last week, Garry Lyon, he started on the bench for Melbourne, and what a great return of form that was for Garry after missing so many weeks through that bad back injury. But a big game for both sides today. I reckon that because the Lappin is out, I believe that Melbourne win today.
Brisbane Lions kicking to the right of screen. Jeff White is pumped up, hoping to get the Demons going. He's going to be up against Marcus Clark. He wins it with a height advantage in the middle. Lawrence in strongly, unable to take it cleanly. First effective kick goes to O'Brien, up towards the half-forward line, towards the 50-metre line for the Brisbane Lions. Pressure on the defence, and Melbourne standing firm. Grgic got the hand pass away. They're able to push it up wide towards centre wing and Febey.
Jim Steins started in the forward line, but he has already pushed down into the ruck, and Jeff White has gone into the forward line.
Febey's kick goes down towards half forward, bounces wide towards the flank, kept in for a moment by Simon Black, close to the line, and will be slapped in only for a moment as Jason Ackermanis tried to take the kick down to left half forward. It'll come back. Could be a free kick to the Lions on centre wing. Good crowd in attendance here at the Gabba this afternoon on this Easter Monday. Boys on the bench awaiting their chance, and that includes young Marcus Pickin, son of Billy. So we wish him well in his first senior game. The club invited both Billy and his wife Julie up here to witness their son's debut. I'm sure he won't let them down. At the bottom of the pack is Brent Grgic, the boy from Bellpost Hill. Tries to get it out. Some solid work in there. Pushed down towards Alistair Lynch. Ricochets off the knee and out of bounds in the left forward pocket. No score from either side as yet.
Well, you've given him the late exclusion, Sandy. What about a late inclusion? We believe that Darryl White has had a second son overnight, or at least his girlfriend Bianca did.
Yes, young Willie. And let's hope I wonder if his middle name could be Warren, because then he'd have his own website, wouldn't he?
www, yes. I'm glad we worked on that one. Evidently he was born at 5 o'clock in the morning, nearly in the car, we're told, here in Brisbane. So a great start.
Up towards right half forward, and a good diving mark is taken by Schwartz. Plays on quickly, kicks up towards the half forward line. No mark taken. Waiting down was Christopher Scott. Gets it away to the brand new father. He in turn finds Richard Champion, who's already a dad. Couldn't take an opportunity for Neitz. Wobbles it in towards the forward line. A chance for Farmer to go off the ground for the Demons. So Jeffrey Farmer gets the first for the day.
And it was pretty intelligent play also, the way he just guided the ball over the line. He didn't want to just blast it through, and there was the handball that put Richard Champion under some pressure. Just wasn't quite accurate enough, and they swooped on it. Neitz just supplying some shepherding. Also was Jeff White, who also shepherded. And then rather than just blasting it across the line, the young wizard just dribbled it, and a dribble will do on that occasion.
So Farmer gets the first for Melbourne, and there was a problem all week whether they would be able to run with Farmer's pace down back, and Farmer's got off to a good start. Back in the centre, Clark wins the knock. Leoncelli out in front. Grgic goes ahead again. Goes long, it looks good, it's another one. Melbourne get their second. And Grgic gets the second for Melbourne, and a terrific start, just what they were looking for, the Demons. Jared, 2 quick goals.
Well, it was a terrific piece of play by Melbourne coming out of the centre. Clark getting the tap, but at the base of the pack, we saw Andrew Leoncelli, who was in outstanding form last week, getting the most important possession, and that is the first kick out of the centre of the ground, and it set up young Brent Grgic. Well done to the young man.
Exciting start then by the Demons, with goals to Grgic and Farmer. Jimmy Steins is replacing Jeff White in the middle for the moment. Up against Clark, the club champion last year. Had a wonderful season. Clark goes again. Tries to poke it wide. Chris Scott, I think, was the target. He's taken out of it. They're working hard, the D's, but Scott may get the opportunity across half-back. Goes towards Champion, running the other way. Champion charges forward. Michael Voss now on the outer side. Pushes wide. Gets it clear. Champion gets another chance. Long and low, a little too low, and Todd Viney is able to take a timely mark. The skipper comes across the ground, that's okay. He finds Shane Wowoden. Wowoden wobbles it up towards centre wing. A long way out is David Neitz. He's got Ragoni going past now. Melbourne surge inside 50. Pressure on the defence, and Champion does it again.
Free kick, Sandy.
Trouble, and it'll come back.
Yes, a free kick to Jeffrey White. Trent Bartlett just getting a little bit overexcited just at the point of contact. You see him with one hand around the middle. He knew that he was gone for height, and desperation stakes saw him grab him around the waist and gave away just a basic free kick. But we saw David Neitz, Matthew, coming up to the wing. That's the great advantage that Melbourne have got. They can have their full forward, take a ball on this wing, and know that Jeff White's going to come in around the back and supply a tall forward.
Yeah, just too many options up forward, Melbourne, with the height and also with the pace.
White's kicked 3 so far this season, 3 goals, 1. Kicking from 46 metres. Was always right. But this has been a very positive start by Melbourne.
Positive indeed, but those sort of shots in these conditions, Matthew, absolutely are a must, because they not only rob you of some scoreboard pressure, but they also just deflate the midfield a little bit, who have worked so hard. And they know there's only so many petrol tickets in humid conditions.
Yes, the head can sometimes drop as Ashcroft, now the designated kicker for Brisbane this year. Beautiful kick to White. White looking for a run. It's Ashcroft who's run all the way from the goal square. Transfers it wide to Tristan Lynch. Lynch up ahead looking for Dion Scott. With him is Seacamp. Seacamp keeps his feet, but the ball beats him over the boundary line for a throw-in in front of the northern stand.
Matty, what's been the feeling up here in Brisbane this week? I mean, is the pressure mounting, not only on the side but on the coach?
Absolutely. I mean, you've got a situation where the club has come out and said that they're going to have a good season, and you're going 0-3 with 2 losses perhaps at home if they lose today. As the ball goes forward, here's a chance now for Leppich. It bounces for him. He's going to centre the ball beautifully out in front of goal. Lynch can't mark. He's the first to recover. Goes to ground. Handball's out. The Demons will clear. Grgic out on centre wing. Leads in the chase for the ball. Handball's on. Up ahead to McDonald. He goes back towards, trying to centre it up and finding that player there in Stephen Febey.
And good desperation across a half-back line. I thought it was the right thing by Justin Leppich to centre the ball to Lynch, but then the Melbourne defence just swooped on it and cleared it well.
Stephen Febey slowly heading towards 200 games. He's on 183 today, while his twin brother is sidelined with injury. And the Lions coaching hierarchy having early problems. Messes Northey and Merritt. Here's White getting it away towards Bartlett. He pushes wide, kicks an interesting one because he's put pressure on Lynch. He charges towards the line, loses it, and it is eventually taken over by Shane Woden. Lynch also coming off a very good season. Second behind Clark in the best and fairest. And here's Clark now coming over the top with that big height advantage. Gets it down to Lawrence, who tumbles a short kick. No distance, but Ackermanis beautifully to Michael Voss. Voss has a look down forward. The kick slews off the side of the boot. And we'll have a throw in almost down into the right forward pocket.
Just an unforced error, really, almost like a tennis shot. He was under no pressure at all, saw black out the corner of his eye and completely missed him.
Steins comes across to do the ruck work.
That'd be free.
Went all over Dion Scott. Rigoni tries to get it out and loses it to Ashcroft and Lawrence. No one able to pick it up cleanly. Ackermanis had a pop at it. Voss has another go now. Eventually the kick is wide by Simon Black. So the D's get a chance to bring it back in again. Brisbane yet to score. What breeze there is going across the ground as Seacamp marks. Still virtually tucked in the back pocket. They've got a chance to run now. Got to be very careful. Adem Yze, you've been pinged, Adam. And this is going to open the scoring for the Lions because Alistair Lynch is going to have a shot almost 40 metres out, but directly in front.
And that's the sort of stuff that the Brisbane Lions need. They need some leadership from their captains. They need some leadership from their senior players. They need this goal to be converted, but I think they just need desperation in the one-on-one battles. They started in Sydney last week. They've got to continue at home, and Alistair Lynch has done exactly that. A goal from a standing shot.
In the centre, Lions with their first. Alistair Lynch, and becomes their second highest goal scorer of the year. It's Clark and Steins. Clever tap by Steins to Febey. Febey high up in the air. Trask on Farmer. Trask spoils away. Farmer first to recover with his lightning pace, but he can't quite get there. They have the numbers, Brisbane, to Black. Black on the outer wing. Takes a bounce. He has plenty of time. Stops. Says go forward. Kicks up high. And the ball's coming back, though. There's a free kick off the ball for a Shepherd.
Yep.
Outside the 5 metres, Jared.
Well, I think the umpire then just indicated it was for a push from Chris Scott, so maybe rather than doing a legitimate Shepherd, he just pushed him out in the back.
The Demons go forward. Another free kick has been found.
Another Shepherd.
This time it is a Shepherd. And it's going to Darryl White. So a little bit of confusion there, but White will clear for the Bears. The Lions, how about that? Dion Scott marks for the Lions.
He's between centre and half forward. Comes in towards centre half forward. Lovett was the big flyer and able to get an effective spoil down. They pounce upon it almost on that 50. Good work by McDonald. Lovett was in the thick of things once again. Now a chance for the Lions. The big man's tucked in the pocket. Has a snap in towards full forward. Shanahan's the spoiler. He'll concede the behind. And does.
Nice bit of defensive work there by Jamie Shanahan. He was behind. He really was in some trouble. This kick coming from Lepic after a magnificent handball from Voss to set him up. Could have just about drawn a free kick there, Voss. Gave Lynch every advantage, but just a little bit too strong was Jamie Shanahan. And a good spoil at that.
Shane Woden to bring it back into play. Has been told, look, you've had enough time, Shane. Get on with it. Goes straight down the middle. A good kick. No mark taken. Farmer's a long way down. He's bundled out of it by Lawrence. Lawrence's hand pass towards Scott. Can't pick it up. He's going to go again. Farmer's wearing him like a glove. He's got him. Lawrence gets it out wide to Ashcroft. Marcus has got a little more time. Flicks it in towards the right half forward area. He wanted the lead of Lepic. Right on his hammer. It's Woden on the boundary line. Keeps it in play. Steins almost throws it even further into his scaffold. Viney. Too slow, Todd Viney, and he's been pinged.
And the pressure of the Lions is creating a few problems for Melbourne, who are just looking a little bit, looking for that extra possession. I'm sure that Neil Danaher will be a little bit upset early in this quarter.
Well, Lepic would be more than a little upset with that kick. Schwartz has got Febey running through the centre. Danger now for the Lions as the Demons go down in towards centre half forward. Neitz was caught behind. He may get a chance to go again. Needs assistance. Gets it in the form of Robertson. Still on the 50. Still with that player. In towards Farmer. And Jeffrey Farmer takes the diving mark. 25 metres out, 45-degree angle. Stephen Febey working hard early in this game. And Jeffrey Farmer, a chance to kick his second. Came into this game with 3 goals and 4 behinds to his name. But he's one of the excitement machines when he's going. 30 metres out. Stone silence at the back of those goals, and that's the reason why. 1 behind to Jeff Farmer, 1 goal, 1 next to his name, and really the Demons have got to take every advantage in this first quarter. They move to 2-2. Dipper.
Sandy, good news for the Picken family. Young Marcus is getting his first run. And 15 minutes into the first quarter.
Been able to see the old man yet, Dipper?
No, not as yet. I'll find him, but.
Ashcroft kicks in, finds Richard Champion. Marcus Picken onto a half-back flank. Champion, first game for the season. Turns 30 tomorrow, Richard. Looking for a birthday present. Good tackle on Yze. Picked up by O'Brien. O'Brien to centre wing. It's a high ball. Scott and Seacamp. Seacamp marks just inside the boundary line. Short pass to Viney. And the skipper steadies things up for the Demons. Short again. Love it. Trying to set something up, the Demons. They've gone short again. Leoncelli in the middle, through the cricket pitch. Leoncelli long. It's Champion and Neitz over the back. Lending support was Clark. Well roved. Coming out now to Lynch. Lynch picking with his first possession was a good one. To Voss. He's created space in half forward. He's chipped it short to the lead of Lynch. Lynch, oh, good spoil, Shanahan. And he runs it to the safety of the boundary line.
Well, either they didn't like his handball, or they thought there was a free kick there from maybe in the back. And as we have a look at this, it's a pretty solid punch away and pretty good lesson for any young defender. If you're not going to get to the ball, just try and do your best to impact on the opposition player's body, and sometimes you can shake the ball free.
Viney to Rigoni. Melbourne looking to get out of trouble. Off to Lovett. Gets another one away. Back towards Viney. That was number 5. It came from Hopgood. and he's got it once again. Paul Hopgood taking it from Lovett, going wide to the outer side, and it's Adem Yze who takes the mark. Called to play on, swings it up towards half forward. The only one there for Brisbane is Matthew Kennedy, and he might have a couple of words said to him there.
And once again, we just see some overusing of the football across that half-back line for Melbourne. There was no need to have so many possessions.
Big pack of players as his kick goes up to half forward. Lawrence may get a double chance here. Still going. Well done by Steins to apply the pressure. Did a great job, the big man, and they'll get out of trouble. Back towards centre half back. The Demons have 2-2 on the board at the moment. Adem Yze has the football. In fact, it's Ragoni. It's Ragoni up towards half forward. Lyon takes the mark. He too doesn't appreciate the close attention, but he's been a grand servant of this club. Kicks in towards full forward. Now Neitz is his man. He's got front spot. Can't take it cleanly. Got a couple of players lurking. He needs only one, and there's another goal to Melbourne. Kicked by McDonald.
He's real smart, Jim. This one day, he was so hungry, he had this...
Terrific work on the ground by Neitz, gives Melbourne Demons their third. Just under 9 minutes remaining in this first quarter. It's the Demons in control. Steins against Clark. Steins the better. Forces out the back. Comes to Jim. Quick kick up forward. Lyon. Good spoil by Bartlett. Demons trying to set something up. McDonald. White tackled.
She's a scramble piece of play at the present time. Both clubs just looking for that possession to get themselves into the clear.
Looking for a clean break. Too high, and Black will take the free kick. Umpire just had his back turned then, so couldn't play the advantage that Brisbane were looking for. So it's got to go back. The second umpire coming in to take control.
He's had a great start to his career, Simon Black.
2 games, and well, he's reversed it.
Well, the midfield umpire has come in and said that Stephen Febey was interfered with, and a pretty handy kick too has also found a McDonald.
Well, all the Brisbane players had run forward, so now that with the reversal, McDonald just drifts back into a hole, and the defenders are completely found out.
With a chance of kicking his second in as many minutes.
James McDonald, and perhaps a little bit more alert than the other players around him there, was watching the umpire when perhaps the others weren't. James McDonald.
Perhaps they were watching the wrong umpire.
Well, that's probably right, Jared. I think you've summed that up beautifully. McDonald from about 45, and he's just pulled that to the left, and a behind has resulted.
Well, that's 3 shots that we've seen from Melbourne go astray as Stephen Lawrence comes off the ground. White has missed one that he should have converted. So has Jeffrey Farmer. And that one from James McDonald. With 3 goals that should have been scored by the Demons.
Richard Champion brings it back into play. Woden was one of the flyers at the front, couldn't take it. The Schwartz hand pass is interesting. Clark couldn't control it. Michael Voss can. Voss has a look downfield. Floats it high. There's not a lot at home. But the one that was in front, and that's Chris Scott. Scott has a lead from Lynch. Out he comes now from full forward to half forward. The pack converge. Lovett gives chase. Leppich tries to take him out. Almost succeeds. Snapping towards goal. Looks okay. And finally Johnson's come on the ground and kicked one.
A bit closer after Johnson's goal. Back to 8 points.
We've got a blood rule with Stephen Febey going off the ground, so play will be delayed just a little bit. Matthew, do you get the feeling that this Brisbane Lions side are just trying to find some form? They look a mechanical side at the present time. There's no great flow about them, but maybe they're just on the verge.
Well, I think that they're trying to do some team rules correctly, but they're just, as you say, there's no flow and there's no real, I guess, players taking the risk and trying something a little bit differently because of the fact that they're 0-2. As we're back in the centre, punched forward by Akamanis, Lyon Chelly, around the body, White, nudged underneath it, left foot there by Yze, looks good, Yze gets Melbourne's 4th. Just good. Quick kicks there from Lyon Chelly and then by Yze, Jared.
Well, Lyon Chelly has been quite a revelation for Melbourne this season. He was one of the best players on the ground last week, And just have a look at him get this ball out of the middle of the ground. There he is. He's actually man-on-man with Michael Voss. So whatever Voss does, weigh it up against the contribution of Andrew Leoncelli. Nice quick kick. Found Adem Yze, who'd just been benched, had come onto the ground once again, into the hole. And he ignored a couple of leads, but he did the right thing and kicked a great goal.
And celebrated his 50th game in the process. So Melbourne answer 4-3, plays 2-1. I wonder how much sleep Darryl White had last night, by the way.
Yes, with young Willie joining the world.
Willie White. Steins and Clark, the latter to receive a free kick. Under 7 minutes remaining in this first term at the Gabba. Clark goes close to Steins on the mark, still gets a kick down towards the half-forward line. Grgic defends for the Demons. Heads to the outer side. Lovett swings away, tries to take the diving mark. With him there is Shane O'Brien, and it's over the line.
Well, we've sung the praises of Brent Grgic a number of times already this season, but you just have a look at him play. He's very balanced. He seems to have a lot of time, and he's going to be a stalwart, you would think, in the next era of Melbourne's team.
Black was working hard at the bottom of the pack. Look at Michael Voss pounce upon that and win a free kick for in the back. He's just forward of centre, but he's a prodigious kick if he decides to go long. So he goes as short as he possibly can. Lions would love another couple before quarter time. Steins almost casually across the pack. And eventually over.
The sliding defence of Melbourne is working particularly well. Alistair Lynch finding it difficult to get some space to get a lead where it really is just a matter of him marking the football. Jim Stein just saw dropping back. Glenn Lovett has done that quite successfully on a number of occasions, as has Anthony Ingerson. So the Lions, in answer to that, have just got to get the ball down there more quickly and trying to catch their forwards in a one-on-one position.
Jamie McDonald, Farmer, Grgic and Yze are the goal kickers for Melbourne. If you may have just joined us, Johnson and Alistair Lynch have the Lions too. Good work by Neitz, shows great agility. Gets it down towards McDonald, who in turn finds Yze. Oh, Champion was on him, but Yze's away. Left footer down towards the half-forward line. Lyon tries to trap it on the half volley. Does it beautifully. Comes out the back door, deserves a goal, but it won't be. It'll be across the face. And just through for one behind.
I think that ball may have been touched. It was marked by Adem Yze, therefore just allaying the concerns of any Melbourne supporters watching. I think that he was told to play on. But we saw exactly the same play with James McDonald, just waiting back, and Garry Lyon tipping the ball out to him. Once again, should have goal.
That looks like a Picken. Marcus Picken bounces his way down towards centre wing. Socks down like dad. A lovely kick out in front of Clark. If it sits, he'll be in business and he can have a shot. Clark making it difficult for himself by going further into the pocket and eventually losing it. And it's taken over. There'll be a throw in. Well, an opportunity going begging there for Marcus Clark. Admittedly, the ball didn't sit up as he would like. Now, the umpires are conferring. I think the Melbourne boys are trying a con job that went out on the full. It didn't work. And it wasn't. Steins from the back. Seacamp. Marcus's kick is high. Back towards the centre. Champion's got to stand his ground and wait for the galloping hordes, and he doesn't. Richard Champion from the middle. Goes long, goes direct in towards Lynch and Clark. Neitz in defence, gets the hand pass away. Grgic comes with a prodigious punt back towards the centre. And the father of the week takes a mighty mark. Darryl White.
Playing on a wing on Adem Yze.
And playing on a high too, I would suggest, as Rigoni picks it up. Comes across the ground. The bounce may be all right for Lynch. Wasn't good for Shane Woden. Johnson gets caught. Lynch will get another chance. He's tucked in the right forward pocket, 55 metres from home. Which way will it bounce? He needs a fierce leg break to the right. Lovett keeps it in initially, eventually gets the hand pass. Oh, it's let's fall over. And they do. Don't fall, concede a behind.
Already we've seen a trap that a lot of players fall into, and that is wearing soft studs up here in Brisbane. It's always a pretty soft track up here, depending, no matter the fact that it's 25 degrees or hotter.
And we had a mini cyclone almost on Friday, Jared, where it absolutely bucketed down hailstones the size of golf balls.
Oh,
Balladas or?
Balladas, yeah, very soft, a lot of backspin.
Matty Campbell one of last week's Melbourne's good play, Jeffrey Farmer, is off the ground with a hamstring soreness, so we'll keep an eye on that one.
Not good news for the Demons as they try and clear. Black. Voss tries to help with a Shepherd. Trying to switch it back, going backwards, but Dion Scott now has it. Chip pass going in short. And Benny Robbins on the field. He's got a couple of players in the middle. But Robbins holds it up, kicks from just outside the 50, going long. It's 1-on-2 for the big fly, but not good enough. And standing his ground and marking was Ingerson. Now run it out through Marcus Seacamp. The Demons by 14. Seacamp's kick is not a good one. And out of bounds on the full. The Lions will need a goal here.
I notice they've just pushed Matthew Clark into the forward line. I think they've decided that rather than allow Melbourne to have the extra defensive player, their ruckman pushing back, they're going to make him man up on somebody. And so Clark is down there, needs to take a mark.
They might be actually off, I think, Matthew, with the blood rule.
Well, we've got a break dipper, and the flags are fairly strong on top of the grandstand towards that end. How strong is the breeze?
It's about a 1 or 2 goal breeze. It's sort of quite swirly. It's going down right down the ground, and where the young fellow's going to kick now, if he kicks it right into the middle of the ground, the ball should go right through the goals.
Well, it is traditionally the scoring end. It is a little bit downhill to the scoreboard end here at the Gabba. Marcus Ashcroft, the player to replace Matty Clark, leading the competition after only 2 rounds with hit-outs. Best and fairest winner last year. We're back with play now. Simon Black decides to go short. You just wondered, Jared, how after those breaks, a player like Lynch can get free.
Well, he did it pretty easily, didn't he? And about 3 or 4 Melbourne players just sitting around watching. Important here for Melbourne to cash in on the hard work that they've done. They lead by 14 points, but if they just drop their guard, the Lions could kick a couple of quick ones.
Lynch for his second. Got a career tally of 277. He won't add to that for the moment.
Just getting back to your Matthew Clark statistic, I wonder how many of those taps have actually gone to Brisbane Lions players directly.
Well, you see at the boundary throw-ins last week against Sydney, they just virtually took almost all of those away.
Febey wants Rigoni. Rigoni's got under real pressure, but the kick from Robbins is wide and out of bounds on the full.
But I think John Northey would be encouraged that Melbourne didn't get that ball away that easily. They must have done a lot of work on their kick-out drills, which were pretty ordinary in the opening round. But that is a far better piece of play, getting the ball back into their forward line.
Ingerson, one of the flyers, unable to take it. The boys looking up at the man in white. Almost pleading, but to no avail. Marcus Seacamp picks himself up. Steins will do it again. With him is Dion Scott. Rigoni there and 43 on the right. Ashcroft wearing 10. Comes off the head of Scott after he'd given a bit of a nudge, and it will go the way of Jim Steins. John Northey already down and waiting as Lovett comes out of the middle. Robbins plucks it out of the air. Lynch says go long and go wide. Johnson is going to have to fly. Now Hopgood, he's caught, does a 360, a cry of ball goes up, but to no avail. Pushed wide, a chance for David Schwartz. Tristan Lynch is giving chase. Woden's down behind play, he looks in real bother, and it's taken over the line by Lynch. Good pressure by Schwartz. Woden is up. That is good news for Melbourne. Let's hope he's okay. It's on centre wing. Well, he just got one in the back, didn't he?
What happens? A knee right into the spine.
Courtesy of Mr. Johnson. Schwartz plucks it out of the air, and here is the man in question. Butters up well. Kicks up towards the 50. The D's would love another before quarter time, and David Neitz has given them an excellent opportunity. 55 out, but he's got lurking in the forward line, Garry Lyon. He spears the pass towards his former skipper now. He needs help. Lyon gets it out. Caught in all sorts of bother was McDonald, who's already kicked one. No one wanted it. And eventually it was Kennedy's kick towards centre wing. It goes over the line, and we'll have another throw-in.
Well, already the signs are there that the Demons are struggling with this heat, more so than the Brisbane Lions. They do lead on the scoreboard, but it's got to be said they were well in control of the match in Fremantle in round 1.
over the back of the ruck contest. Off the ground quickly by Kennedy. Grgic. Back in ball, that's good play. Steins, who back helping out. Kicks towards Woden. Johnson again over the back. Voss hands to Lepic. Lepic to break through the middle. Out in front of Lynch. Lynch, can he control it? Well done, Shanahan. Lynch to butter up. Hook round the body high. No one there for the Lions. Coming hard is Scott.
Oh!
And doing enough to force the point. And that's got him right on top of the head. Grgic coming up worse for wear. Made a lot of ground to get there.
So did Dion Scott.
Oh.
And he wasn't going to make it a wasted effort.
Right across.
Wasn't it great to see Alistair Lynch? When he leads, he just charges down the middle of the ground. He gives a great option and presents himself beautifully. Just couldn't quite get it. Good defence once again from Shanahan.
Febey to the outer side, well inside the last minute of play now. No mark taken. The man that he was targeting was Anthony Ingerson on that outer side. There's young Simon Black, boy from East Fremantle, great distance runner at school. He might find that advantageous in these conditions this afternoon as Steins pushes down towards Viney. It is quarter time here at the Gabba. The Demons could have taken more advantage of several shots in front of goal, but at quarter time they have 4-4, 28, and they are leading the Brisbane Lions 2-4, 16.
And Michael Voss had a pretty good first term. But Andrew Leoncelli also doing quite well. 8 stats to Leoncelli, 7 to Michael Voss.
It all started with Jim, and
That was one of the Rats innovations, was it, Matty?
Yes, he'd be very happy that they're being used at the moment.
Well, it's Michael Voss has got his on and is addressing his charges, and well, they must need a bit of talking to at the moment, although Melbourne did appear to feel the heat late in that term. They are 4-4 the D's, 28 leading the Brisbane Lions 2-4, 16. Single goal kickers to all sides at the moment. Grgic, Yze, McDonald and Farmer are the Demons scorers. Of course, the other game being played today, boys, is a big one between Essendon and Carlton. And for replay purposes, for those people who do not want to know the score, that old phrase comes into play, doesn't it? What is it, G?
Look away now.
Exactly what you're doing, because here it comes. So that brings you up to date with proceedings in the clash between Carlton and Essendon. Let's go down to the boundary line for his quarter-time report. Dipper.
Yes, Sandy, look, bad news for Melbourne. Glenn Lovett's come off the ground as well with a hamstring injury, and that's both Glenn Lovett and Farmer, 2 prime movers for Melbourne in the middle and also around the goal. So that's bad news there. John Northey just asked his players just to stick to the fundamentals of the game. If you think you're here for an easy ride against Melbourne, well, you're wrong. You've got to stand up and be counted today, because you've got to win at home, and he really pushed that message forward. So bad news for Melbourne with those injuries.
Dipper, have you been eating something?
Why is that?
You've lost your tie.
It's so warm down here. I just saw the players with those ice chests on. I might go get one myself. It is very stifling down here.
Okay, here we go then. Second quarter, and let's see what effect it is going to have on the players. Not necessarily the heat, I think it's more the humidity that is causing the problem. Jeff White gets a high kick down towards the half-forward line. The attempted mark was by Russell Robertson for the D's. He was unable to do so, but he's got good support through Smoker. Kicks in towards Robertson, who's drifted down into the pocket, and he takes the mark.
And Robertson becomes a far more important player than perhaps we would have expected, as we see the bench there. Bradshaw and Ackermanis and Robbins and Scotty Bamford up the far end. But Melbourne, with their 2 losses of Farmer and Lovett, are down another string to their bow in the midfield. 2 runners gone. They're in some trouble there. Will count at the end of the game.
Robertson in front of the scoreboard here. He'll add 1 behind to it.
And they're the sort of shots that just have to go through. You can see the distress on his face already. If Melbourne go in at half-time with a 6 or 7 goal lead, and they could, bear in mind, they could be 4 goals up already, then they've got plenty in the bank. But right at the present time, they look as if they are just about spent.
Champion has taken the kick out, but he's a similar distance tucked in the back pocket, and he's taking a similar amount of time to get rid of it. Now he's come into a dangerous area. He's put a lot of pressure on Darryl White and co here. It eventually finishes over the line, but
if you're just going to kick across the ground like that, Jared, you've just got to, it's got to be low and hard. You can't afford to put the ball in the air.
And it's also got to be to a man running free, not to a contest, and it was actually 2-on-1 to Melbourne.
yeah, White wins it out the back. Lawrence on all fours tries to get it clear. Viney working hard in there for Melbourne. Now here's a chance for Smoker. Well, he came onto the ground, Craig Smoker, the boy from West Perth, and he's kicked his first, and a very handy one for Melbourne. Anything early on in this quarter, I think, is going to be a major bonus to them.
And he, in fact, did exactly this last week against North Melbourne. Came onto the ground and gave them that extra set of fresh legs. And he's going to have to play the role of Jeff Armour this afternoon. It's a role he can do quite well. And he's a pretty smart player. You saw him ignore Jeff White there. Pretty confident that he was able to convert on his left foot. And that's exactly what he has done.
Well, Smoker gets the Demons 5th. They're out now by 19 points. Back in the centre again. White jumping over the top, trying to force it through. Chris Scott in there for Brisbane. Gives it off to O'Brien. O'Brien on the left. Towards centre forward, 2-on-1. Good strength. Dion Scott. Outnumbered, but got his body to the front. They've got 1-on-1 up forward. Here goes the kick. Can't get it, Lynch. Voss tries to crumb. Shanahan will relieve. Hits for the boundary. Will it beat him over the line? Yes, it will. Relieving the pressure. It beats McDonald to the line. And the boundary throw-in.
Once again, Melbourne just orchestrating a couple of players to cut across the lead of Alistair Lynch. He's finding it tough to get some space.
Clark and White. Clark gets to the front to Black. Little underground handball to Lawrence is clever. Lawrence tries to centre it. No one there for the Lions. Can't take clean possession. Johnson can clean up for the Lions. He steadies, kicks straight, and kicks his second.
You know, they say we should never walk away.
So 2 goals now to Chrissy Johnson. The Lions have their third. 3-4 plays 5-5 back in the middle. It'll be Clark up against White. The former wins it. He was looking down towards Voss or Lepic. They try and surge it towards half forward. Johnson's in the thick of things once again. Black comes in over the top. The Demons' defence is being tested. Thrown up in the air towards Dion Scott. He goes with a roundhouse right, looking to accommodate Lawrence. Runs into a brick wall and loses it, and will have a bounce at centre half forward for the Lions.
Once again, another fumble by a Melbourne player. They've come up with a free kick to Craig Smoker. But the last goal from Johnson was created through a fumble.
Seacamp takes it. Has a look downfield, a wobbly old punt kick. Goes over the head of White, but he's got time to recover. Eludes one. Swings back towards Champion. And Richard Champion takes the mark on the defensive side of centre wing. Comes in towards Dion Scott. A little too far for him. Lawrence is at the back. He needs help, but Rigoni's going to intercept. Does it nicely. Gives it away to Paul Hopgood. His kick is smothered. Opens the door for Scott, who picks up the spinning top. Wider towards Marcus Ashcroft. Ashcroft finds Darryl White. Short little chip in towards half forward. Johnson! Stolen. Chrissy Johnson goes on up towards half forward. Lynch is out on a long lead. Again, he's got to beat a couple. Shanahan and Yze are both there. He can come across the ground to Grgic. Sets himself and takes a timely mark at half back.
Grgic. Now to relief for the Demons. White standing on his own in the centre. Good vision from Grgic. White's got another player free. The handball is untidy. Febey looking for White. Champion will cut it off. They got out of jail there, the Lions. It comes now to O'Brien. O'Brien, quick kick looking for Scott, but it's misdirected. And Yze will relieve again. To the outer side, to McDonald. Stops. Kicks up ahead. Woden marks under pressure from Lynch. Debut last year, Woden. Played in every game. Kicks up forward, looking for the lead of Lyon, and gets Lyon on the lead. Well, Jared, just the 2 kicks into the forward line. One hits the full forward leading, one doesn't.
Yeah, that's a fair point, Matthew, and I think that one of the other things that Neil Danaher will be emphasising is that they've just gone down there with basic sort of stuff. Don't try and overuse the handball. You can see that a few of the Melbourne players are just struggling a little bit and trying to play a little bit of champagne football rather than staying to the basics that are doing well for them.
Lyon remind him 50. His kick is a poor one and is out of bounds on the full.
I think the hotter it is, the more tired you get, the more you've just got to rely on the disciplines of football.
5-5, plays 3-4.
That's exactly what John Northey said to his players at quarter time, Jared.
Thank you, Dipper. The Demons lead. A little bit of a nudge there, wasn't there? No, said the umpire.
The body language of Jeff White was such that you expected to hear a whistle.
Oh, got to be advantage paid here to the Brisbane Lions. Pickin comes up towards Dion Scott. Couldn't take the mark. May have it stolen. Still in the middle. Picked up by Grgic. Gets the hand pass away towards McDonald, who's caught. Regoni goes back to Grgic, but too late. He'll be pinged, and Scott will take it on the defensive side of centre. He's got Robin streaming down the ground towards half forward. Lepic is also there with him. Lynch is on a lead. Lepic's kick has got to be spot on. It almost was. Viney should tidy up, hoping to bypass Robbins. He goes to Regoni. Regoni with a high kick towards Johnson. Not well directed. Chrissy Johnson spears it in towards the middle. Andrew Coates has come across and said, no, get away. And now kick behind the man on the mark. Johnson does. A little more directly down towards Robbins' territory. He couldn't take it. Dion Scott was there also. Stolen by Chris Scott. Chris Scott tucked in the pocket. And it was on the wrong side of his left foot. It wobbled out of bounds on the full.
Just on Jeff Farmer, they're trying everything to get him back into this game because obviously with the heat here, the bench will become important by the last quarter.
Yze long and low to the outer side. Melbourne maybe can set something up here.
As Woden kicks it up inside 50. Champion gets back with the long punch. The Lions have the numbers. Lynch backs up what Pickin couldn't take. Inside to Trask, to Darryl White. White, the chip pass towards Dion Scott. He can't mark. The Demons have the numbers back there. Back towards the centre. Misses the body by a mile. Robbins to Champion, steps around. Sees a kick up forward, sees Lynch. Coming out to meet it is Lynch, he can't mark it. Shanahan, Chris Scott gets in his way. Simon Black with a quick give. Lepic is going to be outnumbered 3-1, and McDonald will clear for the Demons. Nothing up forward for McDonald, so the outside of the boot, it's a clever kick really. Will it make the boundary line? Kennedy leads in the race with Neitz and decides to take it easy, play it safe, and a boundary throw in on centre wing.
10 minutes remaining in this first half.
Geez, it's a crucial 10 minutes for Melbourne. They're just hanging on at the present time. They're getting numbers down into defence, but they're just almost happy to see the ball out of their area, not giving it directly to a man. It is coming back too often.
Regoni, Anthony McDonald and Todd Viney. Finishes with the skipper. Spears it in towards Smoker. With his lime green boots, he sends a worm burner towards Lyon, who wanted Febey going past. Champion intercepts. And eventually it comes wide. A throw out. And it goes against Champion. It will be taken by Febey, who is directly in front and kicking from probably 50 metres.
And a real let-off there for Melbourne. It was a beautiful kick into Garry Lyon. He just couldn't quite take it. He'll get better with a few extra games under his belt, but this is a crucial kick.
From 53. It's high, it's long, and it's good.
Well, Jared Healy thinks that Melbourne are tired, but the scoreboard doesn't agree with him as they get their sixth. Clark in the centre. White, the big leap, but Clark judges it best. Ashcroft kicks into the back of his teammate to the advantage of Febey, who just kicked the goal. Up high. Players will set themselves coming over the back with 3 lines for the spoil. White there with Viney. Quick hands by Trask to Voss. Tries to bust through, he can't. Neitz in there and no one going anywhere.
And it's been a good effort by Andrew Leoncelli. He's kept Michael Voss without a possession to this point in the second quarter. So it's when you take one of their keys out of play, it's a major job.
And Matty You realise the importance of this game when you look down and see that the Lions are on the road next week, first up to North Melbourne.
North Melbourne in Melbourne. Not an easy game, as we know, so they need to get a win. The kick forward, it could be fortuitous, it is. Garry Lyon takes the mark. The soccer off the ground was from McDonald, but he was playing in front, as we all know that's the place to be.
He soccered that off the ground because he was tired. He put the foot to the ball.
I don't know about that. It was
Tired
just
players
clever
are kicking
thinking.
the goals at the present time. But
Everybody's tired.
we got the theory right, just the results, Paul.
So Garry Lyon from 30 metres directly in front. No mistake for Garry Lyon. His first for the afternoon.
Well, a handy couple of minutes for Melbourne, just at the expense of a couple of mistakes by the Brisbane Lions, putting on 2 goals. They were away earlier when Stephen Febey got on the right end of a handball. And then Garry Lyon, who made the mistake earlier, comes up on the end of a kick off the ground and makes no mistake.
Jared, we mentioned at the start of the program that the Lions' problems is enough to kick goals. At the moment, only 3.
And that continues to be a concern. Lepic still without one.
.47 plays at 22. Worrying signs, one would imagine, now for the Brisbane Lions, despite Jared's prediction of this 5 or 6 goal burst that we're all looking forward to. It's a free kick going the way of Melbourne again.
Nothing sacred.
Taken by Anthony McDonald. He's between half-back and centre wing. Kicks over the wing position now. David Neitz went early. Well, the advantage is going to be played. Melbourne goes surging forward through Lyon down towards Garry Lyon. Champion is right there with him. Lyon being forced into the pocket. The champ goes again. So too does Richard Champion. And he steadies it down in front of the scoreboard. Well, he only goes a short distance. Cut off by Smoker. Blasts one back. High and long and very close. And Ashcroft it is who defends, going over the top, conceding one behind. Dangerous kick there from Craig Smoker. 3-4 plays 7-6 now, the D's. The only multiple scorer on the ground is Chrissy Johnson of the Lions. He's got 2. Matthew Clark and Neitz. Well, it was Neitz first, then Clark. Darryl White applies a good tackle. Ball spills free. Jeffrey White, it's got to sit for the big man. It does. Comes wider to his skipper. Turns and heads back towards right half forward. Had a couple of options there. Rigoni and also Febey. It's the latter who takes it from 55 metres. Set sail for home with a booming punt. And kicks his second.
Telstra Big Pond makes it easy.
Stephen Febey with a magnificent shot and his second goal.
Dipper.
David Schwartz is back on the ground now. Garry Lyon is off the ground. They're rotating the big fellas and Jeff White. And the 3 of them are rotating off the bench at the moment.
We're back in the centre as Clark wins the tap. Lepic now at centre half forward. Spills to Shanahan. Quick kick out in front of Neitz. He leads Kennedy by 4 or 5 metres. He'll need them. And he gets a free kick. A lucky one, I think, but he still kicks long. Up towards the dive of Schwartz, and he just can't grab it, pull it in. There it goes over for a boundary line. Throw in. Dion Scott coming off the ground.
Well, they tried Dion at full forward with Lynch going out to centre half forward, but he hasn't been able to get a chance, really. The ball hasn't been down there for some 10 minutes. Ever since we predicted a 5-goal blast to Brisbane, it's been played all in the Melbourne forward line.
The wonders of Jared Healy is that Leon Shelley quickly round the corner, but only as far as Richard Champion, waiting for the chest mark. The Lions have got to get something happening. They're not getting anything up forward. Goals hard to come by. Champion to the outer side. Kicking up there is Lepic, who's come down the ground. Woden met by Voss. Ball spills over to the boundary line for another throw-in.
54 plays 22. The Demons in control at the moment. Under 9 minutes remaining.
And now Brisbane are going with a shortish forward line. They've got Ackermanis alone in the square, matched up against Paul Hopgood.
Clark won it. Lynch tried to take it out. Robbins attempts with a short kick that dribbles up towards centre wing and then runs over the line, beating Shane O'Brien. Young boy just having his second game from the Ballarat Rebels.
They've also got Marcus Seekamp, who usually plays on the tallest players, picking up Chris Johnson. Seacamp, as we know, one of the fastest players in the AFL. It's an interesting matchup.
Grgic on all fours, needs help. Viney likes the tough stuff, goes in hard, farms out the hand pass. Oh, what a fine mark! Well, this could spell major problems now for the Brisbane Lions, because Russell Robertson has marked directly in front, and if he kicks this, Jared, I'm sorry, the Lions are in more strife than Freddie Couples on a par 5.
I think they'd appreciate going in the water, though. A la Fred.
Robertson then for his first. Cannot believe it. He cannot believe it. And they're the ones. It should be sodas. Not so for Russell Robertson. 8-7, plays 3-4. Ashcroft, being the designated kicker, goes to himself, Marcus. Schwartz is taken out of it with some solid shepherding. Gives Ashcroft probably another 15 or 20 metres. White chips in and does well, the big man, to affect the spoil. Push it over the line. The gloved one, and with the hat on, all it's missing are the dark glasses, and Jimmy would be right.
Bit of zinc, right?
And the boundary throw in, wide over the top. Umpire said he's come over the top illegally, which remains to be seen, but Matthew Clark will take the free kick. He's going to chip it in short. He's missed Matthew Kennedy. It's a poor kick. McDonald to Viney. The Demons could make him pay. Diney kicks very long, going up over the back now. Here's a chance. Robertson a chance to atone for his miss, but enough pressure by the Lions defence forced it out of bounds on the full, and Richard Champion will relieve.
Well, Jim Steins has burst onto the ground, minus his hat.
Minus the hat, of course.
Well, you could argue, Matthew, that if the AFL are silly enough to program a game in the middle of a very hot period during the day, then players are going to have to act accordingly, and perhaps a hat is not such a bad idea.
Well, there'll be people that even argue that it's El Nino's fault. It seems to blame it for everything else, but around the corner goes Neitz, high to full forward. Champion doesn't mark it. Robertson this time off the ground for his first.
It's like working at the Weather Bureau. So Melbourne now really throwing down the challenge. This charge that Jared was talking about apparently has just passed through Gladstone. So waiting for it to arrive. 9-7 plays 3-4.
It's El Nino.
It's Melbourne out of the middle once again through Lyon. That's in Asia at the moment, I think, Jared. Seacamp pushes towards the line. Johnson is there also. And the boundary umpire making metres.
Jeff Farmer's about to come back onto the ground, so I think he'll go to 4 pockets just to give the young fella a rest.
I think Alistair Lynch-Dipper has gone up to full back, picking up David Schwartz.
Steins again with Clark. The latter tries to tap it over the back. The Lions wanting a couple of goals very, very smartly. Johnson's got a couple. Is this number 3? He bends it back. They so desperately need one, and he's done it. Johnson gets his 3rd, and the Lions get their 4th. Is this the start, G?
Well, maybe it is, Sandy, but you'd be a little bit disappointed, because where is the spark for the Lions? Where is the 5 or 6 or 8 players running around to jump onto Chris Johnson and say, well done, son, that's the start, we can come back now? Heads are down. There's just one quick pat on the back. Not a resurgence you wouldn't have thought.
Chrissy Johnson, the lone forward for the Lions at the moment, with his 3rd. They still trail by 33 points. Just over 6 minutes remaining in the first half as Clark wins the tap. Bursting through, though, is Hopgood to Febey. Has support. Going along the Demons, it's Lynch. Back in the defence there was Schwartz. And it was Grgic who kicked it in long up to David Schwartz. With Lynch going back to the back line, Lions looking for something up forward. Voss is now going up to full forward. Just looking for someone to take a mark up there.
Well, I think Voss is a pretty smart move going into the forward line. He's really been taken completely out of the play by Andrew Leoncelli. He hasn't had a possession this term, but he can kick 2 or 3 goals quickly.
Lynch trying to pick it up and doesn't do so. Another boundary throw in. You just look at Lynch there, the amount of sweat, the players, they're covered in sweat. Humidity must be very, very high down on the ground level.
we're all covering sweat, Matty.
I was going to say, have a look at Dipper.
How's your ice chest, Dipper?
He's wearing it at the moment.
A tap down to McDonald, the quick snap around the corner, but it's way off target. Missing by a good 15-20 metres to the right.
Yes, and it'll be Lynch who'll bring it back into play, Matty, towards Black. He was unable to take it cleanly. Leoncelli at the back. Grgic pirouettes and then gives it back to Leoncelli. He in turn goes short and finds David Neitz. Now he's got players drifting everywhere. Thought about Smoker, but now he can go back maybe and have a blast from 55, and I think that's what he's going to do. He's got to run up here like Michael Holdings. Let's see what he does.
Big talk.
Kicking from 60 metres, he lets fly with a torp. A mighty torp from David Neitz. That's how you do it.
Well, there's no doubt that a big long torp, the amount that it can raise the spirits of the teammates, and it just lifts everyone. And, well, the Demons doing everything right here at the Gabba. Fantastic goal by Neitz. Scott can't get clear. Clark with a kick out of the centre. Coming to meet it there was Yze. Black up forward now. Quick, Ashcroft gets the quick kick out. It's Seacamp one-on-one with Voss. Voss can't mark. Seacamp does well. He's got to beat a couple. He heads for the boundary line and finds it. Well done, Marcus Seacamp. And another boundary throw in.
Well, just having a look at Jason Ackermanis there. He's a player whose career really has just hit a brick wall. He's a guy that is a match winner. He's so quick, but he hardly gets the footy at the moment.
Well, he's just not getting enough possessions to really be a force on the forward line or across centre, where he sometimes plays. He's only had the one possession so far. The Lions trying to make something happen here, but the player that Jared spoke of, Ackermanis there, not doing much, and another boundary throw. And they're just very lacklustre at the moment on the Brisbane forward line. Seem to be looking around for someone else to find the spark.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. They just look as if they're going through the paces at the present time. Look very mechanical.
Under 5 minutes remaining, hooking it round is O'Brien. Champion was there, unable to take it cleanly. Seacamp applies the tackle. Voss escapes, get a hurried kick that was partly smothered. Slams it into the behind post, out of bounds on the full considered. Well, they've got 4 minutes to try and add to their score. Pretty well a full house here this afternoon. Seacamp does the retrieving, and now it'll be Adem Yze. Playing his 50th game today is Adam. Heads to the outer side, good looking kick, big pack of players. At the back was Marcus Ashcroft, but a couple of players running the boundary line, but it is Chris Scott who runs out of room. So there'll be a throw in on that outer side. In front of the Sir Gordon Chalk building. Of course, a number of extensions are being planned in the future here for the Gabba. It's going to be marvellous when it's finished. It'll be able to hold with ease more than 40,000 as Black goes long towards full forward. They need something.
Bad luck.
Almost a sensational mark. Was that Lawrence at the bottom that flew going with the flight of the ball? Had a scratchy old time in recent weeks, but nothing wrong with this attempt.
No, he's a bit stiff too because he almost had it. But good work once again defensively from Melbourne. He's just burst onto the bench and he's probably been sitting back down there thinking, well, crikeys, we're looking pretty shabby. Let me out there and I'll try and pull something off, and that he nearly did.
Steins concedes a behind. Could have almost gone to Jamie Shanahan, who had a bit of room to maybe run it around the flank, but he took no chances. The big man, Big Jim, playing game number 247. An amazing achievement, Jared, isn't it?
Yeah, one of the great stories of Australian sport.
I think of any sport, really, to go that long without a hiccup. Here's Shane Woden.
If he keeps eating all those hamburgers, though, Sandy, is certainly going to have a problem with his weight.
And maybe that's the secret, as Woden clears for the D's to the outer side. Punched away by Kennedy. Steins is there again. Chris Scott tries to lay the tackle. Punched on there by Febey. McDonald back into the middle, looking for his brother. He gets it, tries to break the tackle of Robbins. Should have been holding the ball, it wasn't. You'd have to ask the question why when you've taken your time, but somehow someone's ended up with it, and it's Simon Black. Transfers play to Justin Lepich on the defensive 50. Not much up forward. Chip pass to Ashcroft. Ashcroft Straight ahead towards Chris Johnson. He's been the best forward for the Lions so far with 3. He's on centre wing. There's virtually nothing up forward. They're trying to create something through the centre. Clark to Kennedy. Will kick long. Kicks high. There's a chance though for Lawrence. Lawrence, and good work, just 5 metres off the ball. The Shepherd there to enable Lawrence to take the mark, and he'll now have a shot from about 40 metres out.
Yeah, well, that Shepherd was done by Marcus Pickin. Obviously, his father hasn't quite taught him everything he knew, because Billy would have been coming over the top.
Saying, look out, here comes Billy.
Billy.
Stevie Lawrence really need the goal, the Lions. His kick is just to the right. Unfortunately, it's not what they were looking for. And still goals hard to come by for the Lions.
And Sandy, well may you laugh very cynically at the suggestion of at about the 10-minute mark of this quarter, but Brisbane will look back and say to themselves, we had Melbourne on toast, I think, early in the quarter, but they were just incapable of finding enough goals to put some pressure on to crack Melbourne, and now they're going to go in at half-time and have to come up with something extraordinary if they're going to get back into this game.
I don't think we were laughing. We were being cynical, Jared. Just have a look at the scoreboard at the moment. The margin sits at 37 points. Ingerson in front. Lepic from behind. Viney goes in, decides he'll get it out, and does so to Febey. Febey's kick is high towards centre wing. Pushed towards the boundary line by Chris Scott. Neitz got him right on the line. And a throw in. Well, it is on a serious note. They're going to be very interesting to see in the second half if Melbourne, these conditions, can hold on. A change with showers was forecast late in the afternoon. Kennedy's kick is smothered. Viney persists. Pushes down almost a half forward, picked up by Kennedy again. Back pedals with a wobbly little left footer that spins past Clark. Goes towards Lepic, but only for a moment. He tried to slap it, not take it out. Ingerson had it only for a moment. Lepic again gets the hand pass towards Robbins. Some scrambly old play. Robbins back to Lepic. The Redheads combine. Finally, it's Ashcroft up towards half forward. The sun in the eyes of Woden. He loses it. Grgic and Johnson clash. The Melbourne man comes off second best in that encounter. And it'll be a Lawrence ball just forward of centre. Grgic is up, but he's not by no means 100%. Voss in front. Grgic did well to get it across to Yze. Adem Yze swings play wide to the outer side. They've got to run as the ball trickles towards the line and over on that outer side.
And a great defensive punch by Marcus Seekamp, who has got the pace to go with Voss. Maybe not the ball skills, but at the moment it's 2-0 in the one-on-one contest.
Clark floating high, just taps it with the one hand, but it goes straight to Jimmy Steins. Now Melbourne have got a few seconds up their sleeve. A timely mark taken by Lynch. Started down the other end of the ground, now finds himself in defence. Is there time for Chris Scott to go charging across the centre? Does okay. They've got the possession now. Lynch kicks up towards half forward. Black it was. He looks towards Voss. Voss runs out of time as he goes back to Simon Black. And it is half-time here as Black wobbles it down into the forward line. No addition to the score. 4-6 plays 10-7. 37-point margin. Humid conditions here at the Gabba.
And John Northey has faced many a challenge in his long and distinguished coaching career, but right now he faces a monumental one, trying to get his side up, trying to get them to believe in themselves, to work for each other. Because, Matthew, they are in a huge hole.
Well, they certainly are. They just can't get anything up forward. They can't get a mark on the forward line or a set shot or anything. And they're very happy to see half-time as we see them walk off the oval both sides.
In that term, Brisbane kicked a couple of goals. Melbourne booted 6. 10-7 plays 4-6 here at the Gabba and the long break. Back with more shortly. Chrissy Johnson has booted 3/4 of their score. Melbourne are 10-7. The Brisbane Lions are 4-6. Of course, the other big clash taking place today is between Essendon and Carlton. Before we check the scores, let's have a look at some of the highlights between the Bombers. Vishy moment, and let's do it with a man who's been at the helm out at Windy Hill for a long, long time. They looked somewhat lethargic in that second quarter, adding only a couple of goals, whereas Melbourne really did turn it on with 6 goals won. The big question is, can they come back, Matty and Jared?
Well, it's a tough one, Sandy. Brisbane, I thought, had an opportunity in the second term to put some pressure on Melbourne, but they, A, haven't got the midfield that are winning enough football at the present time, and B, the forwards to convert their chances. We've seen them throwing their forwards around. They started with Lynch. He's now playing at full-back, or he finished the first half playing there. Michael Voss, who started in reasonable form, although his man Lancelli also getting some touches, finished at full forward. And Chris Johnson, an unlikely type, given his previous 18 months history, has become perhaps our only dangerous forward.
It's Garry Lyon having a few words of encouragement to his young charger there in James McDonald. Kicked a goal in the first quarter. Let's go down to the boundary line. Dipper.
Sandy, we see Michael Voss starting in the middle of the ground. Obviously, when the side's not going well, you want your captain in there trying to inspire the players. I suppose both coaches, Neil Danaher, were just telling his troopers just to concentrate. You've done a good first half. The second half to go is going to be hard work. And for John Northey, I mean, he just asked his players to play with a bit of passion. They've been lacklustre, and especially up the forward line. I mean, we've got to try and get some goal scorers up there.
Matthew, before the umpire bounces the ball, Adrian Fletcher and Craig Lambert, both not there for various reasons, but...
Well, there's no doubt that they do miss Lambert, and they would be looking for a Fletcher somewhere today. And interesting, Melbourne, Steins and Schwartz on the bench.
So here we go, the second half. Big belt by Clark down towards half forward. They want the first couple badly. Champion gets a call from Ashcroft wide. That's better. Marcus Ashcroft sets sail for home, but he's wide. One behind.
They've got about their sixth full forward at the moment. The Lions, that Darryl White was up there with Lepich as well.
Four 7 plays 10-7. 6 straight kicks in it. Melbourne looking to follow up their excellent victory over North Melbourne. This is Adem Yze. He's at half-back. A worm burner is a little too low to the ground. He may pay dearly here as Darryl White takes the ice. He gets his first, does the father of Willie.
And he's going to have to kick 3 or 4 or maybe even half a dozen if the Brisbane Lions are to go on and score an upset victory after being so far down at half-time. It's not impossible, but they've got to find someone like a Darryl White, despite getting to bed at 5 a.m. this morning, come up and have a big goal.
And the Lions are looking for a spark from White. He's already on cloud 9 with the birth of his second child. The Lions get the one they were looking for straight after half-time. We're back in the centre. White, Clark wins it again. Good work from Ingerson. Strong tackle from Lawrence. Viney, handballs forward for the Demons. Smoker overruns it. Has a chance to go back with it now. Back towards the centre. Voss does well. Can they set a roll up here, the Lions? Voss towards centre up forward. And finding Chris Scott. Crowd starting to lift. Looking for the resurgence that we're looking for, Sandy.
And Jared.
As Scott kicks in, but chipping in well was Yze. And Yze takes the mark. He's looking to switch play. Runs away now, takes a bounce, looking for options upfield. Not much coming, takes his time, chips it high. There's no one there for the Demons. Centre wing, Lepich going back for the Lions. Tries to hold it in, is not successful. Much to the anger of the crowd down in front of the commentary position.
I'm not sure what the crowd took at half-time, but they are pumped.
Well, they're looking for something. They realise that it has to come now for the Lions. Clark down in front. Leoncelli looks for the boundary line. Ashcroft trying to keep it in. Is successful. Ashcroft now. A left foot up to Black and Lawrence. Lawrence now can't pick it up. Hands. But it's all the Demons here. Yze again. Quickly to the boundary line. And relieves the pressure.
And Richard Champion has come through with a pretty crude tackle, and he has let it be known that he means business.
Throw in. The Lions in with a chance again down towards Scott, but there's been a whistle and it's going against Matthew Clark. To be taken by White. Goes in towards Ingerson. Takes a timely mark, needs someone running past, and he's got that player now, McDonald, who has a look downfield, Danger here as Melbourne goes surging down towards Garry Lyon, but he's outpointed by Alistair Lynch. His namesake Tristan offers a lead, but is ignored, so he goes straight down the middle to Black. Got players running past, they're streaming down the ground. No doubt John Northey would have had plenty to say at the long break. The hurried kick was by Trask. It falls short. Seacamp repels. Picken intercepts. Go puffing Billy. Well, this is Marcus. Flat-looking punt is okay. And the mark is taken by Darryl White. Could have gone to Scott, and in fact will. Chris Scott steadies. They need this one, and they've got it. Here come the Lions.
Marcus Picken making his presence felt. His father be very proud on the grandstand. It's just the spark that maybe they're looking for. The youngsters were the ones last week against Sydney, and perhaps it's going to happen again. Back in the centre, White with the big punch. Smoker forward. Demons trying to knock it back in again. Voss on hands and knees, out to Robbins. Robbins the quick kick, looking for a mark, over the back and taking one. No, up by Sazzo's touch, play on. Woden, back to Hopgood. Forced out wider. Lions with pressure. Pickett up there, Pickett, he's down on the forward line, he knocks it forward. Leppich and Shanahan. Just toe poking it to the boundary line, taking the easy option.
I'll tell you what, he's been one of Melbourne's best today, Jamie Shanahan. In one-on-ones, he's been rarely beaten. And his coolness there in the crisis was probably saved Melbourne a goal.
Crowd lifted here at the Gabba. The Lions making their surge. White again with a punch. Ashcroft, can he get a quick kick in? He ducks. The handballs, it goes out of bounds. Doesn't go any further.
24 points in it now. One stage down by 37. White and Clark. Viney to Ragoni. Nicely done. Look out, Guy. You're in trouble. This is a pumped-up Brisbane Lions side that's come out in the second half. Tristan Lynch from the right half-forward flank. Centering kick. Leppich was there. Shanahan also pushes it down. Melbourne have got the runners now, and they're out of trouble as Yze puts it over the centre. Down towards half-forward. Which way will it bounce? Okay for Kennedy, who slaps it towards the line. David Neitz try and sockers it further forward. Ackermanis been very quiet. Gives it across to Tristan Lynch. Lynch has got a little bit of room to move. Has a look in towards the centre and finds Bartlett. Well, some of these players were hardly sighted in the first half, suddenly coming into the game. Leppich, Black, Simon Black is away to the right. Excellent opportunity for the youngster.
A great build-up, though. It was perhaps Brisbane's best piece of play, linking the ball up well from right across the half-back line through to a leading Leppich. And whilst he's had 6 or 7 kicks, Justin Leppich, he hasn't had too many in anger.
Danger here, that ball drops short. Chris Scott can have a shot. He's already kicked one in this term. Hasn't missed shooting for goals so far this year. Has 3 goals to his name for the season. Starts at left. And stays left, one behind.
And just as we have a very good look at that goal umpire, you'd be very pleased, Standy, to know that your friend Neil O'Brien had to run the seconds today.
And I hope he did well.
Neil, of course, was involved in that very interesting goal umpiring decision in round 1.
Thank you, G.
And he sends his regards too.
Yes.
The Brisbane chant goes up here at the Gabba. The Demons clear to the outer side. It's all Brisbane. Doesn't marks what he should have. It was Bradshaw should have taken that. It comes to ground. Leoncelli for the D's. Back to Ingerson, through the legs of Febey and out of bounds. They're applying much more pressure now. The contest is back involved. Ben Robbins there getting up. Lions looking to score quickly, reduce this margin. White over the back to Bradshaw. Bradshaw cut off well by Leoncelli. Voss getting involved to Lawrence. Lawrence dodges around, kicks short. Beautiful kick, finds Justin Leppich. And Jerry, this is the kick that they want to keep the momentum going if he bangs this through.
Well, they have got to convert, don't they? It's a little bit like the second quarter. They had plenty of the ball early in the first 10 minutes, but couldn't get some goals, which puts the pressure back onto Melbourne. But they started the quarter well with a couple. They need to really continue the flow.
Lepic looking for his first. It's an important kick from just inside the 50.
It's a big kick.
The crowd tells the story. Justin Lepic says, come on.
Justin Lepic kicks his first, now in his 5th season with the club. And the Lions coming back. Stein stands underneath it, does win it, but straight down to Michael Voss, trying to get in the action. Black gives it to Tristan Lynch. Lynch back to Black. Here they go. On the end of it is Ashcroft. He could just about kick this long and low into full forward, and the last line of defence is Jamie Shanahan.
But just that linkage there of handballs, it was instantaneous, there was no second thoughts, and it worked.
Different looking side this half as Yze comes to half back, taken by Todd Viney. Lynch bounces off him. Pick and taken out of it by Schwartz. Goes again. Smoker has got to try and pick up this spinning ball. Does it rather nicely. Can steady for Melbourne. They need a steady of the D's. So Craig Smoker gets his second. He booted one in the second term. And just what they wanted. 11-7 plays 7-8.
Well, we'll see on replay here that Michael Voss hasn't done his homework on this young man. He goes to pick it up. Voss is there corralling him for his right foot. Lo and behold, he's a left footer. And he just did the two-step, got away, and that was a pretty important goal in the context of this match. Craig Smoker, 2 good ones.
Craig Smoker with a bit of touch there onto his left foot, and just steadying for the D's. The momentum was with the Lions. It's just what they wanted. Steins against Clark. Bounce down. Johnson. Clever give off to Clark. Handball up in the air. Tapped on. Comes to Robbins. He'll have to quick kick. Good pressure by Melbourne. Oh, coming through is Grgic.
Giving it away.
Yeah, he has to. A little bit too fierce on the palm away.
Gone.
And been booked. Trask is down, and he doesn't look to be in too much. Well, he's in the hands of the trainers. A report has been made. And it's just not what the Lions are looking for. They want the momentum to keep going. Trask into the side. Was into the side to pick up Farmer, but Farmer with the injury. And now finds himself in the midfield.
Umpire coach just asking if he is okay.
He's going to take his kick. 23 points as Trask now sends the Lions forward. It goes over the back, coming out to move. Can't mark with Scott. Ingerson hands off to Febey, to Big Jim. Jim to the outer side. Oh, McDonald can't mark it. Trask back in the action again. Left foot around the body. Up towards Lepic. But well done by Shanahan. Sees it over the line.
Well, Garry Lyon playing at full forward. I just wonder whether it wouldn't be worth him coming into the middle of the ground and having 5 minutes on the ball.
Steins and Clark once again. Round the body goes Lawrence. Across the face, Chris Scott is there, but under plenty of attention. There is Garry. 11-7, plays 7-9.
And a big ask from the coach. Marcus Picken now playing on David Schwartz. Young man in his first game up against one of the very talented forwards in the competition.
Well, we'll hear from his dad at three-quarter time, Billy, as Michael Voss has a couple of grabs. Takes the mark. He's got players screaming for it further downfield. Elects to go with a centering pass in towards half forward, and that's good. Had a couple of players there and finds Trent Bartlett, who's looking for his first goal.
It's important, isn't it, when your champion players are down, that they come back after half-time and don't give the game away and contribute. Voss contributes at his top level. They're going to be tough to beat, Brisbane.
Bartlett goals.
The Lions' revival continues. 16 points now the margin. Michael Voss with 6 possessions. Clark knocks it forward. Robbins involved again. Here's Voss again. He butters up, tries to get it out to Lawrence, but the Demons go forward. And there's a free kick. It's going to Stephen Lawrence after his possession. So things happening for Brisbane. They're going its way now. Lawrence kicks up forward, looking for a high mark. It's 2-on-2. Over the top was Bradshaw. He couldn't mark it. The ball comes to ground, and it's soccered through for a point.
It worries me, Jared, if the Lions get another couple, just what sort of octaves we're going to hear from Matthew.
Yes, well, he's been up well and truly. He's been up for a couple of weeks, actually. Just wondering if he's got another level.
There is certainly another level. Don't you worry about that.
Don't worry about that.
Campbell Theory might become famous here in Queensland.
You never know. But the Lions are doing the attacking. Seacamp slows it up, outer side. Kicks low, going up early. Far too early was Clark. And umpires given a free kick against Bartlett, I think.
Big Jim,
it's a big
I think.
Jim.
Yep, he's going to take it.
Steins.
4 kicks, 4 handballs, 2 marks to Jim Steins.
To the wing, chipping in front is Lawrence. He can't quite mark it. Leoncelli rides him to the ground, and the ball up will be on the centre wing.
And just remember that Jeff Farmer and Glenn Lovett, key players for Melbourne, are on the bench.
15 points the margin. It's the closest the Lions have been for a long time. Leoncelli, Schwartz, Chrissy Johnson, Lawrence. On centre wing, no one getting a decisive tap, taken away by Black. Hooks it in towards half forward. Big pack of players, including Bartlett. Pressure now all of a sudden right on Melbourne. Ashcroft is just inside 50. Marcus's kick in towards full forward. White wants it. There's some holding on. It goes against Darryl White. Melbourne get a reprieve. Yze can bounce his way down half back and does exactly that with 1 and 2. Shepherding sees him clear. Looks down towards left half forward. Big ask for Neitz. He had to beat a couple. Voss is there. Viney also. McDonald tries to get it out the back door. Is effective to Lyon. Hurriedly gets boot to ball. No one able to take the mark for Melbourne. And it's Picken who holds it up. Marcus Picken.
He's having trouble picking up Matthew Kennedy because he's basically looking directly into the sun.
He's got him though. Across half back. He can go short to Lynch and finds him in the shadows of the stand. Back to Kennedy again as they zigzag the ball down the ground. The tired Garry Lyon gives chase. He heads in towards right half forward. Steins marks in front of Bartlett. Big Jim plays on in towards the centre of the ground. Nice mark by David Neitz. Here's great trouble for the Brisbane Lions. Where are you, Mr. Picken? You're nowhere, and David Schwartz is going to kick a goal. Oh, Billy might have a few words to say there.
What is it about Heartbeat that makes it one of the most loved series of all time?
Could be a lot of things.
Is it the glorious English countryside?
The Demons making good use of the turnover there.
And you've just got to
Steady again.
You've just got to do better with those kicks across the half-back line, don't you, Matthew? That kick of Kennedy's.
Well, they zigzagged to try and set it up, to try and create the loose man, and then it was just a poor kick for the turnover. Everybody's caught out, including Picken. So back in the centre. Voss coming through again. Clever give to Lynch. The captains combine as Lynch goes around the corner.
Free kick to Voss.
Too high on Voss.
I don't know who. Maybe Lynch.
After gotten rid of the ball to Lynch. Alistair Lynch will be the one to take the kick.
Well, he handballed the football after he was taken high, so maybe you're right, Sandy. It was downfield, albeit only a couple of metres.
Lynch low. Viney comes in, does well. Is tackled when he doesn't have it. Umpire will play on to Hopgood. Hopgood running through the centre.
It's too far.
Runs too far. Umpire agrees. So a wasted opportunity there for Melbourne. They had some movement there.
A couple of little errors just starting to creep into the Melbourne game. Here's one. Should have been a bounce or at least just a direct kick. There was a free man, as we saw, just over the top. But a penalty here.
And a 15. Oh, that's just Craig Smoker's just walked over the line. And just not thinking, Sandy. And it's taken Shane O'Brien, who has spent some time on the bench, right down to virtually 30 metres out directly in front. It's going to give him some confidence because he's virtually got a free shot at goal. And it could be a crucial error, Jared.
No doubt.
So O'Brien, the kick, Well,
You're right, a crucial error.
it's a crucial error, but from O'Brien, not from Smoker. So he fails to make them pay, and a result is just the behind.
Yet to kick a goal in AFL football is Shane O'Brien.
8 minutes remaining in this third quarter.
Jeff Farmer, you can see there with his left thigh strapped, ice on it. Bit of a problem for them.
Stephen Febey brings it back into play towards Yze, Ingerson and Bartlett. Good safe hands on that occasion by Anthony Ingerson. Boy who started out with Central Districts in South Australia. Gives it to Hopgood, who goes over the middle. Neitz caught a little too far underneath it. Picken gets the chance, and Marcus is off to another Marcus in Ashcroft. He looks down towards half-forward. Daryl White can't take the mark. Bartlett's rammed into the ground, loses it. Ball spilled free. Robbins gives it to his teammate, who is immediately tackled, so Robbins has got to go again. He does, surging it towards goal. Champion applies an illegal tackle, and there'll be a reprieve for Melbourne, as Jamie Shanahan has a few words. The two number ones. Ingerson defends. Steins with one hand. It could be Febey down after a heavy knock. I don't know whether it was a clash of heads. Well, we'll have a look. Yes, it was a clash of heads. Michael Voss and Stephen Febey, and that won't help the cheekbone, one wouldn't imagine, but he's up and immediately off. Not only, I'd imagine, for the blood rule, but also to have a close look at him. Bad luck for Stephen Febey.
They're going to have to just mop him up and get him back out in the ground pretty quickly, because they need their run. They've been robbed of a couple of players. And here we see once again the clash of heads. And it is important to keep your head down, lead with your shoulder, not with your head. Garry Lyon prepares to come back onto the ground.
A crucial 7 minutes now in this game. The Lions can close it out with another couple. They're in for a big final term. Neil Danaher and his men, on the other hand, just a couple of steadiers to open up that margin. They held at half-time.
You just saw there beautifully the way that Voss came in and just dropped the shoulder in.
Yze, one of it is taken by Chris Scott to Robbins. He chips in towards Lawrence, who takes the mark. 45-degree angle and kicking from 40 metres.
Good vision from Robbins, because the last time when he had possession inside the 50, he gave one a handball that wasn't on. But this time was the right one.
This to make the margin 14 points, and he's pulled that right across the face, and that's out of bounds on the full. Disappointment there for the Brisbane Lions and Steve Lawrence. Here's trouble. Here's major trouble. He loves kicking a goal. Richard Champion, and he's done it today here at the Gabba. Well.
Well, we didn't see much excitement after Chris Johnson kicked one in the second. But there was a fair bit of genuine belief that the Lions are in with a chance here now, and Richard Champion has come up with a goal. He's supposed to be a fullback, but he's come up with must have been a smother. I didn't actually see how he ended up with the football, but we all saw him convert that from a metre out. A great performance.
And now approaching a major milestone, closing in on 50 goals for his career.
For Richard Champion with a goal out of nothing. The Lions creep ever closer now, within 14 points. The Gerard Healy charge is eventuating. Clark, here they go again. O'Brien throws it onto his boot. The spoil comes down towards, over the back there is Yze. He leads in the race for the ball. Yze, he's got some pace, and he does well. Just finding the boundary with a bit of touch. But the momentum is definitely with the Lions. The crowd lifting them. Still 6 minutes remaining in this third quarter. Boundary throw in just outside the 50. In front of the northern stand, Clark. Black.
Great tackle.
Good tackle. Robbins in there, also Barney, and we won't go any further.
Good quarter from Michael Voss. Finished at half-time with 8 possessions for a half. He's now moved on to 16, and they've been good possessions. They've been in and under, and they've been starting the run.
Lions looking to convert while they've got it down in that scoring zone. There'll be a throw-in just on the 50-metre line.
The other end of the ground, David Schwartz now with Alistair Lynch deep in the goal square. Marcus Picken has come out onto Robertson. Jeff White is Trent Bartlett, and Neitz is up against Kennedy.
Clark won it, but they're having trouble getting it out.
Just need a set play or something here, the Lions, just to clear it out of the congestion.
And I would think that the Melbourne people would be thinking exactly the same. But David Neitz down on the wing, ready for the quick kick.
Steins gets the kick away, wobbles up 25 metres or so. Johnson was held. Chrissy Johnson's booted 3 goals. He was the only forward they had firing in the first half. Steins could chop this off if he's not careful. Lawrence picks it up, tucks it under his arm, and they pounce upon him. He's going nowhere. Closer to goal. 9-11 plays 12-7. Clark jostles. White gets the high. Ashcroft. Marcus is on a tight angle. One behind.
Dipper, can you have a look at and see who Melbourne have got on the bench that may well be able to come on in the last quarter?
Check, mate.
Dipper playing a little bit of chess down there on the boundary. Just not sure who with. As the kick in comes, Bartlett flies, the punch by Steins. Yze tackled, it falls to Chris Scott. He hooks around the body from just on 50 to the centre, going up high. It's all the Demons. Woden on hands and knees, Shanahan lending support. Champion gets a quick kick. Hopgood gets caught high. White around the body, White!
Whistle
early.
Back to Hopgood.
Yeah, good decision.
That had to be a free kick. There's no doubt that Paul Hopgood was infringed upon, which robbed Willie White of another goal to his name.
A good decision.
It was a great goal, though, from his father, wasn't it? Darryl, not too much sleep, but he doesn't need it. He's such a magician.
Well, Hopgood has transferred play to the outer side where Woden has plenty of space. He's taken a couple of bounces. He's still got time. He's going to have to run it a long way. He's looked for some options as he chips in short to McDonald. Anthony McDonald. As the D's try and steady it up. To the lead of Schwartz. Lynch right with him. Punched by Lynch. Keeps his feet. Woden's run on. He can't keep it in, though. And the boundary throw in front of the Lions Social Club.
Well, Melbourne have Garry Lyon to come back on the ground. Also, Stephen Febey, who came off with just a bit of a cook back there. But that's the only 2 players they have off the bench.
Thanks, Dipper. Here's Clark. Big man trying to weave some magic. So too is Schwartz, who was taken high. David Schwartz. Well, he's 50 metres out on a 45-degree angle. No question that the infringement came from Alistair Lynch. Schwartz booted a goal earlier in this term.
And this is a vital kick for the Demons.
It would be a marvellous steadier, wouldn't it?
We'll find out shortly, but Brisbane have got just far more running potential on the bench. That's going to be vital in the next half an hour or so of footy.
Kicking from 52 metres, it's going to test him. It's a high drop punt. It's a good kick too by David Schwartz, but I think it's just off target and one behind.
Yeah, just with the Lions bench, I mean, they've got Dion Scott who can play centre-half forward, centre-half back, and also got some leg power with Scotty Bamford out there as well.
Yes, we've not seen Mr. Bamford as yet. Oh, here's a poor kick. Neitz couldn't take it, but he's got backup support through his captain in Viney. Tries to get away from Tristan Lynch. A big ask down towards half forward. Claimed by Robertson. His hand pass to McDonald put him under the pump, but he was able to push it down towards full forward. He goes to ground, McDonald, and they pounce upon him. And we'll have a bounce. 20 metres out from the Melbourne scoring zone. And just a couple of minutes remaining as John Northey and Roger the Dodger Merritt make their way downstairs. The Lions desperate to open their account for the season. Melbourne, on the other hand, this is the new look Melbourne, as it's hooked around the body by Anthony McDonald and over the line. Right forward pocket.
Geez, a goal here would be handy, wouldn't it?
It's a crucial 2 minutes, isn't it?
Yep. Steins, Clark and Schwartz. Schwartz says he'll do it on his own. Now, what can he produce here? Tuck right on the boundary line. He goes across the face of goal, and this ball beats the two Brisbane Lions boys over the line. Marcus Ashcroft was closest to it. Another throw-in. Left forward pocket this time. Precious seconds tick away. The two big men lock arms. Well, the opportunity was there, I think, for Robertson, but he just lost it for a moment. Kennedy pumps it back towards Black. It spins away from his outstretched arms. But they've got it down almost to centre wing, perhaps out of the immediate danger zone. Greg Hutchison and Neil Danaher working out plans for the final quarter. Could be almost a case of last man standing. A Robbins hand pass towards Bartlett. Now Lynch. He steadies. Tristan Lynch. They say, go on, run. And he does. Maybe the Lions can close the gap even further. Champion was interfered with. He wants to go on with the job. He loves kicking goals, and maybe he should have gone back and steadied a little, because he was always away to the right.
But the goal square was open, so he had the right idea of getting the ball down quickly before Melbourne could shore up their defences, but unless they go straight, they're not much value.
Chris Johnson also running into that open goal square just to the right, perhaps just putting Richard off it a little bit there. 13 points the margin. To the outer side, Jeff White for the big leap, can't make it. Comes to the ground, tapped out to the path of Yze, who can't quite pick it up, fumbles. And is that a tight fumble, Jared?
Well, I think it's a hot and
bothered.
tired, bothered. All of those, they've all worked pretty hard, the players of both sides.
Just over a minute remaining in this third quarter. The Lions have got themselves back into the game. They're set for a good last quarter. Clark goes to ground. Doesn't go much further.
Still over a minute of play left in this third term. There's no doubt Melbourne have put up the shutters. They just want to wait for the three-quarter time siren. Daniel Bradshaw about to come on.
Clark roved away there by the Demons. Up towards, no mark there. Rigoni, he's caught to Woden. Clever handball. Smoker can't take it. Lynch for the Lions. Comes around onto his natural right foot. Kicks towards the true centre half forward area. Coming out well was Grgic. Goes forward now for the Lions, for the Demons, sorry. Lynch holding it up, and it's going no further from there.
Well, still a chance now for the Melbourne Footy Club to pinch a goal.
In their half-forward spot, Neitz, Lynch, Steins all there, but there's been a whistle, and it's gone against Jim Steins. Tackle too high on Alistair Lynch, so he'll steady it down. Heads towards Clark in the middle. I don't think there'll be any further score now, as Lynch sails away across the centre. But it is all set up for a last man standing affair. Melbourne in that term restricted to just a couple of goals, 2 goals, 1. Much better term by Brisbane. They kicked only 4-6 in the first half, and in that third term alone they kicked 5 goals, 7. So let's check the score at three-quarter time. It is Melbourne 12-8-80. The Brisbane Lions 9-13-67 as we take a break from the Gabba. After a Brisbane Lions resurgence in the third term, it's 9-13 the Lions, 67, but they still trail. Melbourne in the box seat if they can hang on. 12-8-80. A reminder, of course, the other game being played today is that between Essendon and Carlton. Let's have a look at some highlights, and if you don't want to know the score because of those highlights coming away a little bit later on, look away now, because here it comes. So let's go down to the boundary line as both camps are breaking up to get stuck into it in the final term, and a man who's had to put up with the heat in the kitchen down there is Dipper.
Sandy, looking forward to this last quarter. What a terrific quarter we're looking now. Thank you. And Neil Danaher just said to his players, he just said, listen, you've got to get back into the contest. You must win the ball. They look like a side just sitting up and just put the shutters up, as Jerry Healy said it late in that third quarter. You've got to get back in the contest, and vice versa with Coach Northey. Just asked his players, get back to those disciplines as we spoke about at the third quarter. You're attacking the ball just the way that you guys know how to do it, and you can win the game from here.
Dipper, what's your gut feeling? You're at ground level?
I think Melbourne can win this game, because last week the same thing happened against North Melbourne, and they, halfway through the last quarter, North Melbourne came back at them, and they know how to win these type of games now.
And Dip, looking forward to a cool drink when you finish?
I've had a few down here, actually. There's a nice breeze coming through now, so that's going to help the players and also the supporters out here.
Thanks, Dipper. There's Darryl White, Marcus Seacamp. Well, what are your thoughts, Jared? You've been threatening with this mighty comeback.
Well, I think the Lions have done that. I think both sides now would think that they can go on and win this game. I reckon with the advantage of Brisbane playing at home, it's about square as we stand.
Yeah, 13-point margin. This promises to be a cliffhanger finish. Let's hope you can stay with us and enjoy it wherever you may be watching, as Lynch finds Ackermanis and he goes to the outer side, pops it in front of Michael Voss, almost stumbles, does well to regain and retain his footing in towards Chris Scott. First goal just so important. If the Lions get it, they'll just about bring the house down with enthusiasm. Lepic went up 23 minutes early and almost finished parallel with the ground.
Yes, this was quite an outstanding leap. If he had got the sit...
Degree of difficulty?
Plenty.
Here's Ingerson. Defending to the outer side. Going towards centre wing. Neitz in front. Couldn't take the mark. Well, the Lions are ferocious early on in this final term, and well they may be. Up towards half-forward. Lawrence does the roving in front. He's only got to kick straight, and they have started in the way they wanted to. Stevie Lawrence ticks his first.
Well, we saw Melbourne have two players spoiling the one. They were both punching to the front of the pack, and Stephen Lawrence was smart enough to know that that was where the space was. There you see his run. He's run 15 metres. He had no man. I think it's Grgic. He's not picking him up. He bobs onto it and kicks a pretty smart goal.
Stephen Lawrence igniting the Gabba crowd. They're within 7 points, the Lions. And 2 forays inside the 51, resulting in a true Rovers goal in front of the pack to Steve Lawrence. Back in the centre. Clark wins it. White roves it. Round with the body. Coming now is Ackermanis. He's starting to get involved in the half-back line. Over to Lynch. Lynch ducks back into the middle. Short pass looking for Champion. Great punch. White down on hands and knees. Trying to help him out is McDonald. In there is Rigoni. Lawrence scoops it out to Black. Yze with a little tap, comes to Voss though. Voss has got time to see something ahead. Hands off to Scott, Chris Scott. Short pass, looking for someone up forward and finding Justin Lepic. He's too far out to score. He's going to kick from about 55. He's looking for some options up forward.
Well, he could just about snag this one, Justin Lepic. He's that sort of player. He's in and out, he's brilliant. We saw him, you almost have to put up with the occasional error to cash in on the brilliance, and you wouldn't be surprised to see him put this one through at post height.
The distance will test. It's a wobbly old kick. It's not a good one. It's going to drop short. The punch away. Lawrence again roves it. Under pressure. Woden. In there is Grgic. Black. Woden does well. It's Grgic, isn't it? I'll call him Grgic. I'll get it right once. Grgic. Not to be confused with Grgic at the West Coast Eagles. But they did well, the D's there. They forced the ball over the boundary line.
And the umpire did well too to keep the whistle away, because there was a couple of free kicks, half free kicks, but nothing that warrants a free shot on goal.
I think Matthew Clark had that one spent a little bit early. Very keen to have a shot. Here's dashing Darryl White looking for a free kick. I was held, he said to the umpire. In fact, added a couple of adjectives to go with it, but it fell on deaf ears.
Yeah, good umpiring once again by Tim Shearer. Just a young umpire in the caper, but under some pressure, making some good calls.
Shane Woden over the line on the outer side with Darryl White. Look at Clark, hands on knees, almost gave away the free kick to White. Then when the tackle was too high, Woden initially didn't take the hand pass. Now tidies up to Yze, kicks back towards the half-back flank. Vine is in the way. He's got Stephen. Febey coming through the middle. Febey has a bounce. He goes again, tries to draw the player. He had Seacamp wide. He also had Hopgood. Chooses the latter. Hopgood could just about goal, you know. He's down to 55. His short little pass is interesting to say the least. Puts pressure on Smoker. Looked up at the crucial time and is going to get away with it with a push in the back. Very, very lucky.
Well, extremely lucky. I thought Paul Hopgood, who hasn't been beaten today, but certainly not making great decisions under pressure. There's the free kick against Lynch. But in front of Paul Hopgood, he had Marcus Seacamp running with him. He's one of the best kicks from on the run in AFL football. Lucky to get away with this, the Demons.
Well, Smoker would dearly love a goal. Melbourne have got a goal, and what a steadier.
It all started with Jim and 2 McDonald's quarter-pounders.
So the margin is back out to 13 points.
I'll tell you what, this is a very big takeaway out of the middle.
Still is the margin that they have to get over the lines if they're going to do anything. White, good tap. Coming in, Viney. McDonald, quick kick. Inside 50, coming out to meet at line. It's a clever handball. It's a great handball to Smoker. Can he kick another one? No, he can't. Well, you're right, Jared, it was an important takeaway and they almost did it perfectly.
Yeah, another quick goal there really would have just about sealed the game, you would think.
Boundary throw in. Still 16 minutes to go in this final quarter.
Maybe that was just a bit early to be giving them away, even if they get to 19 points up.
Clark to do battle with Neitz or Schwartz. Taps it down. Smoker's in everything at the moment. And a boundary throw in.
There is a line there, but we might just stay clear. Oh, Jason, what has Jason Ackermanis done? He's given away a ridiculous, well, an inopportune free kick. And you just be tearing your eyes out. Well, that is just not on, Jason. Absolutely undisciplined, and he will be, no doubt, extracted from the field.
So what can Mr. Smoker do now? In front of the scoreboard. If he adds a 6-pointer here, it's going to make it very tough for the home side, but he's a left footer in that left pocket. What a kick. What a kick by Craig Smoker. All of a sudden, he has got 4 goals, but more importantly, Melbourne have shot out to a 19-point lead. 14-8 plays 10-13.
Well, it's just not on. It doesn't matter what the player does. You just cannot give away a free kick. Get to retribution at some other stage. And Neil O'Brien's just sitting in the grandstand saying to himself, I wish they were all that easy.
So back in the middle.
Well, you buried him last week.
And you're digging him out. 10-13 plays at 14-8. There's a big punch out of the middle by Jeffrey White. Down towards David Schwartz. Just overruns it. His immediate opponent in Lynch gives it to his namesake. He's under pressure. Wide into Ackermanis. The Lions have got to get a wriggle on now as Jason Ackermanis looks down towards half forward. They need a mark. Black is there. Doing it wide to Champion. It wasn't a good hand pass. It was belted away from him by Ingerson and eventually taken over the line by a tired Marcus Ashcroft.
Sandy, things are going well for Melbourne on the ground, and also the conditions down here. It's dropped about 3 or 4 degrees already because this big black cloud has just blocked out the sun.
Thank you. Thanks, Stiffer. The bounce down. It goes to Black. Black up forward. Johnson comes out to lead, going across well with courage. Ingerson can't quite take the mark. but sees it over the boundary line.
And he's had a very good game, Ingerson. He hasn't given away many goals, and he's been tight and has bobbed up with a couple of important possessions, and we'll include this one as one of those.
Back with the play. Out they go, the Demons, out in front of McDonald. McDonald on centre wing now. Oh! Gets crunched just as he kicks it.
Downfield.
And downfield is the free kick against Tristan Lynch. So some free kicks costing the Lions here at the moment.
Was that a free kick to them?
Schwartz hooks around the body, up forward. Lyon up there, going up early. Was that player there in Robertson? Trask for the Lions, clears along the ground to centre wing. It's all the Demons, but nothing will avail there. And well, there still is 19 points the margin. There's still plenty of time, but they've still got to get the goal, Sandy.
Just under 14 minutes, Matty. Matthew Clark has tried his heart out against Steins and White. And at times, David Schwartz, he's had a lot to do. McDonald just gets his kick in time, pulls it, but luck's a fortune, it's okay. It lands with the biggest man on the ground in Jeffrey White. Short little chip into half forward is okay. Grgic. And a little bit of frustration keeping into the Lions' play.
And Brent Grgic has added a lot of run to the Melbourne defence. He's actually playing across the half-back line for Melbourne. That's his direct opponent in Ackermanis, and he's just pushed right down and is now on the receiving end of a shot on the goals.
Kicked one in the first quarter, but I would venture to say if he's successful here, it's the first nail in the Lions' coffin. It's a lovely looking kick, but he's bolted into the woodwork. But it does stretch the margin now to 20 points, so in effect, the home side had to score 4 goals.
It was a bit unfair to Ackermanis there. It's, in fact, Steve Lawrence, who's his opponent. They're playing across the half-back line, half-forward line, respectively.
Ashcroft brings it back in. Lynch, like a ballet dancer, drifts between 2 Melbourne players to take them up. Kicks towards centre wing. Champion and Ingerson, the latter a good spoil. Ashcroft through with a hurried kick. On all fours, his opposing number 10 in Seacamp. That travelled about 1.5 metres. Back to Seacamp, off to dashing Darryl White. The pass is on into the sun. It's okay. Johnson has taken the mark. Certainly within scoring distance.
Almost a 2-goal turnaround if this one's completed in the space of half a minute.
Angle not acute. Johnson for number 4. The only multiple scorer in the Brisbane outfit today. And this a very important kick. He's guided it through, and the Lions hang on.
Johnson with his 4th. The Lions staying in touch. 14 points still the margin, though.
And Paul Hopgood gone on to Michael Voss. Important match-up in the next few minutes.
White still springing his legs. Perhaps the least tired of the big men on the ground at the moment. As it comes to Chris Scott. Scott round onto his left boot, up towards set-up forward. Champion a chance. Over the back again was Ingerson. He's doing well. Tapping it out to Shanahan to Ingerson. He's giving it up to Black, though. Black on his right foot. Can he make him pay? No, it hits the post. Well, an unusual mistake there.
Well, after giving Anthony Ingerson a rap,
yes, it's like that, isn't it?
He's come up with a handball that was, well, it was pinpoint perfect, but the bloke had the wrong jumper on.
And Simon Black, unfortunately, just hitting the post from his point of view. But good for the Demons, because they still lead by 13 points. Well, Woden to clear. Beautiful drop punt to the outer side. It's 2-on-1, though. And Dion Scott takes the mark. He's chipped in up towards the 50. Ben Robbins marks just outside the 50. The distance is perhaps a bit too far. He's got a player loose. It's Darryl White. White from behind can't mark. Ingerson comes in to relieve for the Demons. McDonald, give on the up. Yze to centre wing. Long clearing kick. Kennedy and Neitz. Got to keep your feet. Kennedy does so. But unfortunately the kick lets him down and goes out of bounds on the full.
Well, he did everything right in a tough one-on-one battle there with David Neitz. He's been a little bit quiet in the last quarter and a half, but you've still got to finish it off with good disposal. Basically given Melbourne a chance to set up one and employ a set play.
11 minutes remaining. 13 points the margin. Schwartz, there's some holding on there. I think it's an illegal shepherd has been decided. It's going to go against Melbourne and David Schwartz. Lynch to the outer side. The sun's somewhat glary for Steve Lawrence, close to the boundary line. He manages to keep it in play, then hook it round with the left foot up towards half forward. Strong, skillful mark by mighty Michael Voss. Into half forward, he wants Darryl White. But, he's got good support. Justin Leppich, a long, long way from home. The lead is on. What's the pass like? The spoil from Seacamp is okay. There was a Melbourne jumper being held there, and it'll come back. That's a Melbourne free kick. Definite holding.
Well, we saw the jumper come away from the body, and as John Russo has told us, once they see that, you're gone.
Yeah. Chrissy Johnson knowing there'd been a problem, but it's not out of the danger zone as yet. Running it over eventually for a throw in. There's Grgic wearing the number 4 strip for Melbourne. Kicked a couple of goals. One, in fact, in the first quarter. Now Michael Voss from a standing start. He pumps it high inside 50. Good strong mark taken by Adem Yze.
They've got to try and switch the play here, Melbourne, because they're just going back into heavy traffic.
Yze goes long, back towards centre wing. Need a player waiting down. The skipper is Todd Viney. Just bending it round the body and wobbling it probably 50 metres. An experienced kick. He's got it down to left half forward as Neil Danaher and Greg Hutchison try and plot the Lions' downfall. At the moment they're in the box seat because they lead by 13 points and 9.5 minutes remaining. Is that a wry smile for any particular reason? G?
Neil Danaher in the box seat.
Well, it is Easter Monday. Here's a chance for the Lions to clear through Picken again. Go Marcus, and he does. He gives it away to Kennedy. Oh! Pinged. And Melbourne have an opportunity now through Stephen Febey to really make them pay. He wastes no time, goes short into the pocket and finds Garry Lyon.
Well, Garry might as well go back and have a shot here. He's one of the best shots at the goalpost in the competition, although we haven't seen him much in recent times. He's the man for the big occasion. He's the man with the big shoulders, and a goal here would be invaluable in this in the finish of this game.
Kicking from just on 50. He's a thumping drop punter that he's missed to the left on behind.
The margin is still 14 points. 8.5 minutes to play. Jimmy Steins looking to come back onto the ground. As Ashcroft kicks to himself, goes to the outer side, and Schwartz takes a clever mark just inside. Game just seems to have closed in a bit. Chips over to Jeff White. White around on the left boot. High ball. Going back and marking is Marcus Picken, son of Billy, as he's known. Picken. Back to whence it came. Ashcroft.
Well, it might just be my unusual way of looking at things in football, but I just get the feeling Brisbane are going to come back and be very close at the very finish.
Well, stay with us because we've got just under 8 minutes remaining.
Marcus Ashcroft. Short chip pass to Bradshaw. He's had a quiet day, Bradshaw.
Still plenty of time. I mean,
but Melbourne, their body language is that they're closing the game up, and it's too early for that.
Robbins. It still remains to be seen whether they can kick the goals to win. To Ackermanis. It's just possession football down the outer wing. Looking to maintain Ackermanis. Melbourne have bottled it up, though. There's no options up forward. Ackermanis to the lead of Leppich. And as so often happens when it slows down, we get a boundary throw in just in front of the dugouts, where Jim Steins is still waiting to come onto the ground. Schwartz, he does so. Schwartz having a spell. Boundary throw in. Comes down towards Voss. Trying to burst through with strength. On the ground, gets it off. Cleverly done by McDonald. Gets it up forward. 2-on-1. Kennedy, well done with strength. Bradshaw, quick give. Over to the run of Tristan Lynch. Lynch towards the 50-metre line. Up high. Steins goes back. Falls to Darryl White. He can't pick it up. Grgic relieves. Handballs towards Steins. Players look very, very tired. It doesn't actually go out of bounds. Darryl White with a left foot pass to Johnson. He can't mark it. This time it goes out of bounds. And a boundary throw-in.
6 3/4 minutes remaining, and still the Brisbane Lions in with a chance. Just 14 points the margin. Clark at the back. Ingerson comes over the top and swipes it away to the right. The Lions again through Robbins. A chance to go into the pocket. They need a mark and they've got it. This is the moment for Steve Lawrence. Conversion here to make it just 8 points. Lawrence has kicked one already in this quarter. He's on his way, but the silence behind the goals tells us he's snuck it in from behind. Back to a 13-point margin. Boys on the bench for the Demons. 11-15 plays 14-10. Stephen Febey has the job of bringing the ball back into play. Melbourne have their supporters here. You can hear the chant in the background. Febey takes all his time and then spears a worm burner into Ragoni. He goes back to Febey, who's run on down in towards the middle of the ground, over the head of Viney, and it's taken by the smoker. Away he goes to the running Paul Hopgood. Suddenly Melbourne go deep into attack. They want to shut this game out, and David Neitz can go a long way towards doing that. 50 metres out is Neitz. 7 kicks and 4 hand passes, and 1 goal at the moment. That was kicked in the second term by David. Came into this game with 5 goals, 4 next to his name. And this one to make it really, really tough. Neitz. Kicking from 55 metres. Not a pretty kick off the boot, but well into the square. Wide at the back. It's just about sealed it. Jeffrey does the roving.
Jeffrey White gets the margin back out to 19 points. Time running out for the Lions, and Melbourne have steadied beautifully. Back in the centre, Jim Steins, fresh legs. Comes back to Ragoni. Ragoni drives the Demons forward again. Going back is Picken. He can't mark. Or can he? Yes, he does. Well done, Marcus Picken. Clears to the outer side. Lynch is run down. He's got some time. His namesake tells him to take a bounce. Take another one. Alistair Lynch over to Ackermanis. Ackermanis, he's got some pace. He's going to be run down. He kicks, chips across, and Ragoni does well. He gets back from the centre. Guy Ragoni. Melbourne switching play. Coming out is Johnson, but Ragoni gets his kick. Leoncelli punches down. Yze coming through. Also in there is Bradshaw. Ragoni is in everything in the last couple of minutes. He's got some time. Kicks towards Robertson. With him is Picken, the 224s. It comes over the back. It's a chance for Robertson. Will he go up the ground? He picks up. He turns back into trouble. And he turns over the boundary line. And it's holding the ball.
Well, just on Guy Ragoni, one of the recruits of the year to date, Melbourne have certainly picked up a ready-made footballer. And on the Brisbane Lions, I just wonder why they haven't tried Bradshaw up in the forward line at any stage today.
Just over 4 minutes remaining. Tristan Lynch runs through half-back. Almost comes to a halt. Has a look what's waiting down forward for him. The one waiting was Lepich, but this is Woden over the top to Steins. Look out, Jimmy. He gets rid of it on that outer side of the ground. Claimed was Febey. A cry of ball. A tired Jim Steins wobbles it down towards left half forward. Clever play towards the line, and they'll be more than happy to see it go over. All players absolutely drained. With a 19-point margin. And 3 3/4 minutes remaining. Steins and Clark still doing the work. Look at big Jim Steins. On all fours. He's got to pick himself up and somehow do it again. Well, John Northey must be pondering now. 3-0 and a trip south to meet North Melbourne. Rigoni could have given away a free kick here. He has to Bradshaw. Daniel Bradshaw is on half back. Heads towards centre wing. Lepic is there. So too Jamie Shanahan. The latter forcing it over the line. So it looks as though Neil Danaher is going to record his first win on the road. Casually picks up the phone and says, what? Stress in coaching? You've got to be kidding. He's enjoying it. Up to left half forward Lyon, forced to defend. More than happy to push it over the line. 3 minutes left. Russell Robertson, wearing 24, coming into this lineup today. Sean Smith, a withdrawal. Steins winning it with the left hand down to Garry Lyon, off to Todd Viney. Viney snaps a flat-looking punt in towards left forward pocket. There is David Neitz. It beats him over the line for another throw-in.
Into the last 3 minutes now. Lynch. Some conversation between all types of umpires. Field, boundary and goal. So it is a boundary throw-in. Clark, taken by Lynch, tries to bust through Neitz. Clark gets a kick. It's high ball. Steins is there. Steins does well. It's smothered off the boot. Ashcroft tries to get something going. Bamford's finally on the ground. To Ackermanis. His handball to no one in particular. Yze trying to step out of trouble, does so well, kicks it high, up towards the Melbourne forward line. Neitz and Lynch over the back. Alastair Lynch has got support. The handball off. Out in the path of Tristan Lynch. Tristan Lynch to Marcus Picken. But it's all slow motion. We're down to 2 minutes. And a mark there to Robertson. Robertson now decides to play on. Kicks it back to centre wing, Jimmy Steins. And time to slow it up, says Jim, as he feels as though Melbourne have this game in their control.
Steins, 8 kicks, 7 hand passes. Long and low in towards Garry Lyon. Kennedy over the top and over the boundary line in the left forward pocket. Yes, Melbourne are going to record a memorable victory here at the Gabba. Always tough on the road, but this is a new look Melbourne this year. We first saw glimpses of that in the Ansett Cup. They produced the goods against North Melbourne and now have done it on the road. And one of the toughest asks too against the Lions at the Gabba. Bradshaw takes it from Lynch and kicks back towards centre wing as the clouds start to cover over the Gabba. Darryl White will in a few minutes time turn his attention to fatherhood to his youngest newcomer. In the meantime, Lawrence may kick a goal. A belated goal to Stevie Lawrence. Kicks his second for the quarter.
Well, the margin at three-quarter time was 13 points. It's still 13 points with a minute and a quarter remaining. So it's been a terrific performance by Melbourne. In humid conditions, they've hung on well. They lost Farmer and Lovett early, and they've done it really with 20 players. Back in the centre. And
to come up here in the heat, particularly after they played in Fremantle just a couple of weeks ago.
And faded out.
And faded badly after being in a pretty good position halfway through the second. You'd have to say they've learnt their lessons and a well-earned victory to Neil Danaher and his Chargers.
Comes to Hopgood. Here's quick kick inside the 50. Coming out is Neitz. Can't gain possession. Picking to lend support. Going back is Voss. Been well held by Hopgood in the important time this last 10 minutes.
And one of the great pluses, of course, is that Jeff Farmer went off the ground with what we believe is a bit of a hamstring strain. And on comes young Smoker, who's come up with 4 goals.
Done the job.
Showed a bit last week and certainly went on with it today.
Steins pushing it down in front with the left hand. Kennedy was there. Thrown up in the air. And over the line once more, but it's all academic now as hands on hips Tristan Lynch begins to ponder what may have been. Throw in on the outer side. Steins again. Just going through the motions now, tired as they may be. So the Lions next week have North Melbourne. Melbourne, on the other hand, will pay a visit to Optus Oval and Carlton, who, as we speak, are taking on Essendon. Kennedy, one of the last kicks of the game, comes in towards half forward. Shanahan was there, but there's the siren. It's all over. And Melbourne have recorded a major victory on the road at the Gabba. There's Shanahan, Yze and co. Brent, Grgic. They're absolutely exhausted. But a fighting win to the Melbourne Football Club. And it is 15-10-100. The Brisbane Lions, 12-15-87.
Want to share in $500,000 of cash and prizes? Then rush down to your local Tats Lotto.
Another big game is played this afternoon between Essendon and Carlton. Number of stations taking highlights replay of that program a little bit later on. So if you don't want to know the score from the Bombers Blues clash, look away now, because here it comes.
The 1998 AFL Premiership season, proudly brought to you by Telstra. Making life easier. Victoria Bitter, for a hard-earned thirst. Cadbury Mark of the Year. And McDonald's, official restaurant of the AFL.
So, as I say, round 3 drawing to a close. Let's have a look at the ladder as it stands at the moment. And bear in mind, of course, that we still have Essendon and Carlton to complete formalities, but the two unbeaten sides are the Western Bulldogs and Sydney, both with 3 wins apiece, while at the bottom of the ladder it is Hawthorn and the Brisbane Lions in real trouble, especially the Brisbane Lions, who are struggling to win at home at the moment and with a very, very inferior percentage. So the 8 at the moment, the Bulldogs and Sydney. The West Coast holding down at 3rd spot after winning the derby yesterday in Subiaco. Melbourne have crept into the top 4, 2-1. Then comes North Melbourne, just trailing them on percentage. Richmond, St Kilda and Essendon making up the top 8, with Adelaide